Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is for The Walking Dead, Season 11, Episode 5, Out of the Ashes. Or we could call it Out of the Asses. But this is another episode of The Walking Dead. We're back here for, we're now really going with what this final season is going to be like. We get a bounce around story. Was this better for you, Joe? Was this better for anyone watching this season? We'll find out tonight. So, yeah, the audio is great right now. Yeah, sorry about that. If you tuned in right at the beginning, we had a little bit of an audio snafu with some little bit of feedback, but we're back now, and I'm not alone. Of course, I have Joe Dirty Locks with me for this adventure of The Walking Dead.
I was going to say you're not alone, Phil. Who else is here?
We got the live motherfucking chat!
Yeah!
We got the real YT, we got STE, we got Christian O's, we got Atari Dad, we've got Chalk Boy, and we got Jason Voorhees. So, before we get into it, if you want to get your voice in the conversation, you can do it at 781-990-8509. Leave your thoughts about this season in general. There you go. Or whatever you're thinking about this particular episode and what you're hoping to see in this final season. If Joe and I are completely full of crap and you're feeling this season, you're really feeling this episode, and because I did like one aspect of this episode, Joe, and I know we saw a lot of stuff we'd seen before, but again, and it's not what you think. I'm fucking sick of Negan and Maggie. It's the same thing now for 5 episodes.
We haven't seen that before. We haven't seen them get together before like this. Like, come on. When have they really had just a
one-on-one time?
Phil?
True. But I feel like they're beating a dead Glenn right now at this point in the season.
So much to each other that we haven't heard before.
I don't know. I'm not feeling them right now, and I thought that was.
I don't know, Phil. I thought it was a completely original conversation. We heard none of that before from either of them.
But what I did actually like in this episode was not the guy you thought it was last week. The real Aaron. I think the guy playing Aaron continues to be a bright spot, another bright spot upon the cast, and does good work when he's given the work. They just don't give him enough. His part of the episode with seeing him go crazy on one of the whispers and stuff. In general, I didn't hate that because
you're right, Phil, because it was good to see how one of our group would, react having a prisoner, because we haven't seen how they do with interrogating prisoners before. So it was good to see that from our group, like it was really nice that we learned that, interrogating a prisoner doesn't really work.
We did learn that from 24 though. They are bringing back 24, so maybe we have to get back into that mindset. Lizard said
it was we haven't seen it on The Walking Dead, like
not like
that you're losing yourself moment from another cast member who has been there and didn't take that same advice from another cast member who may have been there. So it was good to see how our cast member would react to that moment that he was going to listen to a complete hypocrite giving hypocritical advice, because they've been there.
Yeah, we saw a completion of the whole situation with Carol going through this epic arc throughout the series of being where Aaron was, and it's like poetry. It rhymes. It was amazing.
And it never happened before her either, right? So
but speaking of things that never happened before and never will happen again, we gotta stop the show for 1 second as we got our super chat donation. Huge toast. I'm gonna pour a drink. John Haymaker gave us a super chat donation. Rest in peace to, for me anyways, one of the funniest people to ever walk the planet that passed away this week between the last time we talked to you. Huge rest in peace to the hilarious Norm Macdonald. So a big toast to Norm. And for all essential purposes that I've heard through people that have either met him or comedians that have been less successful than him, someone that always was in general a pretty damn good guy too, from every place, and a comedian's comedian. The people that thought he was the funniest were other comedians. So rest in peace to Norm. We do have one more season of the Orville with his voiceovers that exists somewhere that they came out that said he already recorded his whole audio for the season. So we will hear Norm in the most recent season of the Orville. And I hope there's some more Mike Tyson's Mysteries somewhere. And if you haven't watched Mike Tyson's Mysteries, you're missing out. It's a pretty freaking hilarious show, and it's on Hulu. And Norm Macdonald plays the voice of a pigeon. And it's a funny short animated series, like 10-minute episodes, real quick, in and out, and it's pretty freaking hilarious. You'll recognize a couple of the voices on the show.
Oh, we had Kenneth Michael Williams and Norm Macdonald, or Michael Kenneth Williams, Kenneth Michael Williams.
Michael,
I don't know, Michael Kenneth. Anyway, That's 2. My money's on Betty White for number 3.
Shut your whore mouth. Shut your whore mouth, Joe Dirty Locks. Atari Dad says Mike Tyson Missiles got canceled. Oh, ended with Mike Tyson accidentally killing God. Lizard says, but Angela King focused on Carol getting mad at Alpha, and I was like, she only set 2 people on fire, and she lost her daughter and went off on revenge on so many people, just not Alpha. Hey, Santivia Major in the live motherfucking chat. And John Haymaker, thank you so much for that super chat donation. Chalkboy, Judith Shane would have chopped off some hands tonight. Very funny that we did get to see a little bit of Shane's daughter pop out tonight in Muppet Babies. Blah, 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 blah. We got tonight another episode of Muppet Babies. Mind you, I think they're testing all sorts of spin-off waters all over my fucking face. They're slapping spin-off dick all over my face right now, Joe, with the kids show. They're testing it. And they tested it twice now. You can call me an idiot, call me like you're reading bullshit. But no, I'm reading them trying to force feed a Walking Dead's kids version up my ass right now. And it looks like it. And they did it a couple of weeks ago, and they did it tonight again, where we have the Walking Dead, the kids edition. And I don't want to see it. I'm bored by it. The actress that plays Judith is a good child actor. I think she's better than the rest of the lot. And I think when she's acting with other good actors with decent dialogue, she does a good job. But when she's with the other kids, it's just a joke. It comes off, again, like a spoof of a real show. And that scene with her and Rosita was some of the worst freaking dialogue I've ever heard this side of Little House on the Prairie. And sorry, Michael Landon fans. It sucked. Or it was a different era. It was a different era. It's just really bad. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have picked Little House on the Prairie. I'm pissing somebody off saying that, Joe. But I just thought that everything with the kids tonight was horseshit horrible. And really, if you were going to say to me, and this is where I'd argue with you or whatever, I don't think it was something different, but I think the Aaron, them going to Hilltop stuff at least was entertaining for my eye holes on screen to watch, because I like watching Aaron on screen. Everything else that happened tonight, was horseshit boring for me.
That was even horseshit boring.
I like Aaron.
Oh my God.
I like Aaron.
They're dead. Let me shed a tear and move on. Eyes open, everyone. Like, come on.
Tracy, well, at least
just fucking come on, man. Like,
ooh, well, at least you have Boys 3 to look forward to for the next episode. Fortunately or unfortunately, Joe and I will not be back next week. Boo! Yay! Whatever. Either celebrate or boo. I will be reviewing the next week's episode midweek at some point with a quick review, and then Joe and I will be back in 2 weeks from tonight to talk about the newer episode, and then Joe giving his thoughts on what did Joe think of that episode. And
sure it'll be original too.
I'm moving next week, and I won't have internet on the Sunday night for the show. So unfortunately, we will have to take a week off, but we will be back the following week. So make sure you tune in. I'll maybe try to do a quick live from my phone thing that night if I'm not too tired. But if not, we'll be back in a couple weeks. Atari says filming a live action show with a cast of young kids would be a nightmare production wise. So many labor laws. When season 1 gets called a Psycho, I just want to go see them and say, okay, I'll show you Psycho. I like the Commonwealth stuff, but I'm a sucker for world building. I also did not hate all of the Commonwealth stuff either, Joe. At least
I did. And how different was it than any of the other like communities we've come across? Like,
it's bigger. It's
really,
it's bigger. And it's more organized.
No, yes, maybe. Who cares? They're still fucking psycho.
Maybe.
Maybe.
You gotta.
I just got here. You put me through all this shit. You hand me a letter. You say I'm now your teacher slave.
Was Eugene?
I'm now your, and I can't leave. Wait,
Joe, was Eugene?
We're all okay as long as you follow the rules.
Was Eugene set up by Stephanie? Was he set up to go in there? Was that?
I don't care.
You don't care.
I didn't even think that far into it, because like if you don't follow, we're gonna get banished now.
Did you enjoy?
Didn't he just want to like get help for his friends? So like I broke a simple law by trying to communicate with my friends, and I'm now going to get banished. What, driven to a random part far outside, or can you at least, drop me off in the direction of my friends?
Joe, do you know what I did actually like? Again, another thing that I actually liked in this episode. I enjoyed the silly, cheesy intro video, orientation video that we got at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
because
I knew that was the one thing you would like, because that's...
It's different. It's cheesy. At least it is something different that we haven't seen there. I kind of like outside the box. It's Dharma. It was very Dharma Initiative from Lost kind of feeling.
It's still boring.
I found like it was an interesting way to start the episode. I feel like,
yay, I'm a teacher slave. Yay, I'm a retail slave. Yay, I get to go shovel animal shit again. Oh, look, I get invited to royalty. And then the snooty fuck, like, if I walked over and was like, here's my letter, no, you need to talk to, you need to blah blah blah, and no, but it's just a letter. Oh, here, let me lick your ass, I'm so sorry. Are you kidding me? You're the first one I don't ever treat nice, ever.
And
you're the last person I picked to move forward for anything if I ever had the chance. Like, you're the first person I like shoot in the ankle when running from the zombies. Like, because how many people have you been a complete dick to that you could have fucking helped out? But no, you didn't.
Emerald asks in the live chat, is Eugene dead? I missed the episode. No, you lucked out this evening, but Eugene is not dead. He did eat some ice cream.
All dead, dude.
They're all just walking dead.
They died the minute Glenn went onto that fucking dumpster.
Not the show, Joe. Not horse. Is the show dead. We're talking about the characters. So did you think, a couple people in the chat are checking in on that? I tend to think that yes, Eugene was set up. It seemed like she gave some sort of smiling, knowing look to the intro guy, to the guy that was doing the movie at the beginning. We saw him save Eugene at the end. It seemed like it was some sort of setup that Stephanie's job, so they could use these new people, because potentially, this is what my speculation, and I have not
takeover.
Yeah, or takeover, that there's something wrong, that that's Red Stormtrooper guy is causing problems with being too militaristic or whatever, and this guy is the original foundation father of the town, and he wants to bring back the old Commonwealth kind of feel, and less rules or you get ousted kind of vibe, and he senses it in this new group that he's gonna make a big point. I don't know, I guess like a trial is something we haven't seen on The Walking Dead yet. Courtroom drama at its best, we might see something like that. Walking Dead courtroom style. You never can tell. Yumiko defending Eugene in a hardcore case to see who gets to stay, to see if Data has human rights or not. I don't know. I'd love to have say
Walking Dead Night Court.
Yeah, I would love to see the ongoing adventures of Dan Fielding. I would watch it. In one prophylatic use. Atari Dad says probably to get them to divulge that they have friends elsewhere since they hid it in the interrogations. Very possible, too, to kind of undercover everything. But it seemed like that guy, Stephanie was ready to go get that guy to save Eugene. Like he was on point to save him. So it seemed like almost like that guy wanted Eugene to get in trouble so he could challenge, I forget what the guy's name is, that the Red Stormtrooper, was it Mason or something? Or was Mason Maggie's friend? I forget it, whatever. The Red Stormtrooper.
Or whoever the leaders are in charge.
Right, I think it's...
That's what it's about.
I think it's Red Stormtrooper, right?
No. Red Stormtrooper is just like, he's sheriff or some shit. Who knows? There's other people above him. A panel, a council, a leader, a president, or whatever. This is a move to make them an issue.
Do you have any interest? See, to me,
political issue. No, I have no interest in any of it.
Why? Because it's uninteresting to you, or you feel like there's no way they could do it well?
Well, it's already uninteresting to me, and like I have issue with, okay, great, I'm going to live in you're going to try to sell me a utopian society, right? You're going to tell me what I'm doing for a job. You're going to tell me everything will be all right as long as I don't break any laws, but not tell me what any consequences are. Like, there's so many little red flags, Phil, man. No, I'm not interested. I'm already fucking out of there. Like, as soon as they opened the doors for me to be said, like, okay, you're free, I'd have been like, guys, we're out of here. We're fucking out of here. We're out of here. We're going. Bye. I'm leaving. Now, I don't give a fuck if that chick is here. I don't need to get my dick wet that bad. I'm gone.
Lizard says we know it's a Stephanie, but it's not the real Stephanie. Could it be just a complete setup? This isn't, Eugene was talking to a completely different group where Jadis and Rick is, and this is like a different group.
And that's just it. Here's the thing, like radio communication, anyone could have been listening to every single one of those conversations and writing down every single piece of information. Sounds like a community that would be doing something like that. Looks like a community that would be doing something like that.
Oh, and that guy's name is Mercer. I like Princess with Mercer. She's very forward with him. Again, this is the thing that the difference, I guess, in Joe and I's perspective, that isn't that much different between our opinions of this show. But I do find slight enjoyments here and there on some of the actors' performances because if I'm watching it, I need to pick a few pieces of corn out of the poop. And I do appreciate some of the actors' life that they bring into their performances, namely 3 people: Aaron, the actress that's playing Princess, and usually Jeffrey D. Morgan, even though I didn't really feel him in Maggie's scenes tonight. I still generally enjoy his work on the show. So other than those 3, I don't think I think some of the actors are just kind of in some ways going through the motions. I guess Gabriel's good too. I think again, we've said this many, many times, and I do call it out when I see it. There was some moments. The guy who played the Whisperer in this episode that they were torturing was horrible as an actor. Horrible. I don't know, Joe. Why was he horrible? I don't know. He was pretty bad. And some of the kids were really bad too. And yes, I'm attacking child actors. I think Rosita has moments when she's all right. Tonight she was horrible in that scene with Judith. Like really bad, like laughable bad to me. I think Maggie, since she's gotten back, Laurie Cohen has mailed in almost every performance. I've said it before. She's like Luke Perry when he came back to 90210 after Jason Priestley left.
I think they're all on par with each other. I don't see anything special about anybody's fucking performance. I didn't see anything special about Aaron's performance.
I do. I see more.
Anybody else's. He lost me the moment he bent over to kill Kevin or whoever the fuck it was that they said was underneath the that was underneath the
Kevin McAllister.
wall.
Kevin McAllister is the only Kevin.
I
know who you're talking. Yeah, I know.
And then he shed that one crocodile tear, and Carol was like, "We got to keep going." It's like all of it was just really fucking bad. All of the acting. I don't care from who. They're all mailing it in at this point. They all fit. I watched them recite lines as it, and like I can hear in every tone and influx in everybody's voice, this really sucks. I feel like I'm watching George Lucas wrote this.
There is an element of Star Wars prequelness to it all. I especially in the dialogue. I cannot disagree with you there, Joe. A couple of live motherfucking chats. Atari Dad says, I always thought that was Rip Torn in that show. I love Rip Torn. Has Rick returned yet? No, Rick hasn't returned yet, and there has been no little Easter eggs or breadcrumbs for a Rick return as of yet. Ahmed says, I'm strangely turned on by Stephanie. If only Pornhub had a nerdy academic category. Ahmed. Emerald says, so The Walking Dead is picking corn out of poop now. For me, that's what it is. But I think what Joe's saying is he's going to call a piece of turd a piece of turd. If he doesn't, he's not enjoying. And I'm speaking.
Not even the acting, the writing, all of it. Like there was a point when I felt like the actors were still
trying,
giving it their all. Now I feel like they all knew that this shit was over at the start of the season, so they're all just like, this has gone downhill so hard, so fast, and so many fucking flames. Any of us will be lucky to get a job after this.
Daryl already has his job.
Right, exactly.
I want to see the Commonwealth actually have to fight walkers. They've been so sheltered. It's like a bunch of grown babies, says Lizard. And Chalkboy says, she's kind of been a little hippie though, and she's hot. I'm tired of the Maggie Negan thing. How long is Kane going to drag this out? Santivia, as always, great point. That's something
I thought they were gonna kiss.
I thought they were going to kiss too. I wrote in my notes, we'll get to that point. They have sexual tension. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a fucking couple by the end of the series before Negan miraculously dies. They're going to have a moment.
They'd be so stupid.
But
for the stupidest shit ever.
Yes, but I mean, maybe it's probably not going to happen. But like it seemed like it on several moments where she seems to look at him with a chemistry of sorts. Maybe it's the fact that they played Batman's parents, so they've played husband and wife before. But there's definitely something there.
Maybe.
And but anyways, to Santivia's point, I argued in the first episode, Joe, with you that it was that it was somewhat interesting that they put the Maggie and Negan thing in the forefront. They put the magnifying glass under it to kind of reach it to a peak point earlier in the season instead of dragging it out through the season on another wild goose chase of a storyline that ends with a big jerk off or a big build up with no orgasm. So ultimately, I was excited to think that we got this out of the way. That whole point, Negan drops her. We're gonna.
What did I tell you?
And you said, Phil, no, it's bullshit. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, and it didn't work out too good for me. For the record, where is it? Where's the sign? Where's the sign? It needs to be entered. Joe is always. I can't move it up anymore. Right. Okay, Joe is always right. So no. Excuse me. They didn't bring it to a head so that they could deal with the storyline and then get to more interesting storylines down the road. They brought it to a head so that they could slowly revisit that same head over and over and over again throughout the season until you get the nauseum of it. It reminds me of movies. When one kind of movie is a success, and then the next year you see 20 of the same movies. So you do something once good where they wrote that and they're like, we got a clever scene between Maggie and Negan. Let's just write the two of them to death till people just don't.
That sound effect you heard in everything after you heard it in
the trailer. It's like the every trailer sound effect. Or in this particular episode, they were like, we like Maggie and Negan together. Let's write them. Or a song that you play on the radio when something turns into a one-hit wonder, and you hear it. I mean, not so much now, but back when people listen to radios all the time, and they would play a song 1,000 times over and over again. So you liked it when you first heard it, then it's overplayed to death. And that's what they're doing with Maggie and Negan. It's too much already. This
was always Negan's long plan. Moment he saw that pregnant Maggie,
hook up with Maggie.
Ooh,
you think that's why he picked Glenn?
That, and so he killed her husband.
Hickory dickory cockery walkery.
Put her in the harem. Right next to Scarface, whatever his name was, wife.
No, Emerald says I agree with both you guys. Stephanie is hot, but she can't replace Olivia in my heart. Oh, Chalk Boy. Atari Dad says prequels are still better than the sequels. Prequels may have been poorly written, but they were at least memorable and creative.
You saw that ad for the prequel for Sopranos.
Oh yeah, I mean we can talk about that later, but he meant we mentioned Star Wars stuff, and I would agree that as bad as the prequels are versus the sequel series, I will rewatch the prequels more than I will watch the sequel series. I'll go back. At least we're still talking about Jar Jar Binks, higher ground, Misa beep doo doo. We got Ian McGregor gave a good performance in those movies.
Do you even remember anything from the new movies?
I mean, everything I remember is like being able to make fun of it, so that's a good point. Good point in the live chat. As much as you want to rag on Lucas and those prequels, at least they're more memorable than the sequel series. 100%, 100 fucking %. Lizard says the acting is not as good. Every group of people has a problem with it, and no one has a level of hesitancy with the Commonwealth. They just believe propaganda. Last time they almost got eaten. And to my point, to Joe's point, to make Joe's point, I was thinking they haven't done something like this before where it's nice people bringing them in that turn out to be batshit crazy as much. And I was just talking about how much I love Terminus, which I guess we are kind of revisiting something. They're not going to eat them.
And didn't they, and wasn't like the cop people, the rapey cops, weren't they the same way?
I think they might have been nice at first too.
Yeah, and wasn't the governor the same way?
Yeah, but he lost an eye and
nice
stuff.
To some and kill others.
I mean, he was really nice to his dead daughter. I mean, like
he let some in, like, come on,
Joe, we have our first voicemail of the night. And everyone else that wants to leave a voicemail, you can do it at 781-990-8509. Again, 24 hours a day, 7 days a motherfucking week. Anytime you want to call this number, call it. And we never can tell what we're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates here. This is from area code 747.
Ooga booga. Ooga booga.
Booga Booga. We got Booga Booga back. That's how I know we're back up and running. We got Mr. Booga Booga back. Great to see you in the live chat, buddy. John Haymaker says, I'm Negan. Ahmed says, Negan Maggie spinoff. How I killed your parents. I like that. Good name. Good name. I can see it. Ba 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 ba. Have you met
Terminator 3?
Have you met Lucille? And you're killing me, Chuck. With all the redemption story arcs, bully kid with marry Judith. Oh no, Negan and Maggie need to try throw the frick down and get it over with. Fight or fuck and get it over with so we can get to Meridian. The prequels introduced some great stuff. Better writer did. I've said it before. I don't want to get too down to the Star Wars stuff. Lucas should have written, then just had Steven Spielberg directed them, and they would have been at least decent pictures. It's just Lucas isn't a director, and especially later on, by that point, he was even less of a director. And Spielberg's always a quality director that tends to do Lucas's shit pretty good. So I think Spielberg should have directed those 3 movies, and you would have got better movies. And because the stories weren't completely horseshit, at least they were memorable. And I mean, a lot of Trade Federation crap and stuff like that's kind of boring. But at least it was a story. There was a lot of hype. And if you had built up the energy and actually give you a couple movies, similar again with what The Walking Dead did. The Walking Dead built up so much quality fan service around the property that it became easy for the creators to go into automatic pilot and not deliver quite as high of a product. So even when they came back and tried again last season, in a sense of getting into that Whisper arc, and I'm holding Joe to this, that Joe actually even enjoyed because they were trying and you felt a sense of okayness to it. And even with the Walkers, I feel like they shot their wad with that storyline to a certain extent, because now when we see Walkers, it's never as extensive as we saw with the Whisper arc, where we saw like a good depiction of thousands and thousands of herds coming at you. So now when we see them, it's just like, it's whatever. But they can never get back the goodwill that they destroyed, and they try to play catch up. And to Joe's point earlier, now it's everyone's on a sinking ship and trying to save what they can and have that one moment of, and to me, Joe, Aaron's on the ship playing his song like we're on the Titanic, and he's like, no, I'm gonna still play my song here. Like Aaron, Gabriel, Negan, and Princess are still, they're like, we're going down with the ship, but we're trying. God damn it. Not everyone's doing that. I think at least
I'm not sure. Princess, okay. Awfully nice pink coat for living in a fucking nothing, like living like what?
Could we accept that we're watching a cartoon now?
No, I can't. It's every part of this show sucks. Every part of it, like even like the sledgehammer to the walker's head looked fucking stupid bad. It like even like skipped or glitched or bad CGI. Like everything out, like it's a fucking sledgehammer. Those things are fucking heavy. It left an imprint, a small imprint. Their knives and everything else they use like slide through heads like fucking butter. But like this doesn't pop it like fucking like Gallagher on stage live front row. Like come on,
Sledge-o-matic.
Stupid.
Are we talking Star Wars? Because I'm a fan. Oh no Merle, we're just going on there. Phil and the band carrying on. Tony motherfucking pajamas. Hey Phil, glad to catch another stream. Thought this episode was bad but better than the first 4. I tended to think that there was a few things in this episode I liked better than the first 4 as well.
I don't know what you could have liked better, but I don't know what anybody could have liked better than the first 4. I don't even, at this point, I don't remember the first 4 to be like they all sucked. They've all sucked. It just sucks.
Joe, are you sad? Are you sad that you decided to agree? Are you happy that you have next week off? You're excited that you have to move furniture with me instead
I'm still gonna watch it.
And maybe you can you could actually come over and we could do it from my phone or I could come to your house and do it live from there. Well, considering next week is we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on Sunday, depending on how tired we are after the move. But But yeah, you're still going to be watching. So you're watching this similar to the way you watched the end of something like Sons of Anarchy for you, where you had already given up on the show by the end, but you're invested in it, so you're watching it to the end.
Yeah, at least Gemma's not singing in this constantly.
At least we don't get Gemma songs over every
20 minutes of Gemma singing in the background.
Right from wrong, and I'm going to sing my song. Right from wrong. Sorry, I'm literally just rewatching that right now, and it's every other I'm at the point in the show where every other episode has a Gemma song.
And Tony's got a good point here. He thinks the show flows better when it's not focusing on a single group. And I agree. I've always said that I liked the single focus episodes, but they lean on that very heavily in this series. And I'm gonna argue with you guys in this that okay, so they focused on Daryl and Maggie's group and all of them in the subway, and then they focused on not Daryl, and now they focused on you get all that Daryl shit last week and all that weird psycho asshole shit last week and at the end of the week before, right?
The Von Kaiser stuff, yeah,
right, and from the end of 2 weeks before, I think it was, right? So
yes. No, last week was Von Kaiser with Daryl.
Right, and then 2 weeks before that was when Daryl split. They all got attacked.
Yes, was the continuation
because there was a different focus group in between there. Carol's girls in the woods and all that.
Oh
shit.
Yeah, okay. So we had our first.
So now I'm proving I remember the episode.
Yes.
Which is horrible. So.
God damn, it's my fault. You're blaming that for me, Joe. It's because.
Well, no, I'm blaming this on Tony Pajamas.
It's Tony Pajamas' fault.
With his fucking point there about what it's done now by doing this is who gives a fuck about Daryl now? Now I'm gonna be 2 weeks to get back to maybe 2 weeks to get. I don't even know what's in store for us for next week.
Next week
I don't get Daryl now until next week. And
yeah, you'll get Daryl next week.
When really they could have chopped all that shit and all this shit up over the last 2 episodes to keep you kind of vested in both storylines rather than letting one hang on for half a month.
Yeah, and it's when they do the one-off episodes, I would feel better if they did them when they were more justified for backstories and stuff. When they're continuing the actual story along, I think it works better when they do the bounce around episodes and don't go too long. And I think as we're in our final season, it's of utmost importance that they narrow this focus down and they get to something that people can give a shit about. But the problem is they can't write anything but superficial nonsense. So by focusing too much on any one thing, it shows how ugly the painting is. And I want to say have a good night to Santivia Major. Ahmed wants to hear the origin of the virus. The show better reveal that. I know the graphic novel didn't. Do you think the show will attempt to do something the graphic novel didn't and try to get back to the origin of the virus that we got at the end of season 1 with
really? Somebody said that?
Yeah, Ahmed said that in the live chat. I want to know the origin of the virus. The show better reveal it.
Really? Dude, it was China. All right? What do you mean the origin of the virus? Who cares? Who fucking cares where it came from? Everybody's fucking got it. A community like that doesn't last unless everybody's fucking locked in from the outside. Nobody goes to visit anybody.
But to Ahmed's point,
dies of a fucking heart attack or dies in their sleep or any kind of shit like that, any kind of minimal death leads to an outbreak.
It would be interesting.
Do they feed on these bodies before they start to reanimate and get
I
back
don't
up?
think to your point though, Ahmed, I don't think we're going to get that in this main series. If we do get it in anything, it will be in an anthology series later on where we might get a one-off story to get back to the character we got at the final episode of season 1. What was that name?
The CDC guy. Maybe they'll give us a spin-off where they show the beginning of the outbreak.
Yeah, that might be interesting.
Like a spin-off where they just have the first, where where they really focus on the beginning and how people react instead of jumping time. And
That's what I originally thought Fear was going to be, but it ended up being something different. So
it ended up being something different.
It ended up being
that's
something
what
different.
that's what they told us it was gonna be, and it was completely not. They actually, like, in the second episode, or like 2 weeks later, and then like months later.
You know, Joe, if we were normal people, if we weren't masochists, we could probably end this right now. We could say, everyone, this was really great talking to you tonight. This was this episode of The Walking.
Ended this as a dumpster.
Yeah,
Phil. We could have been like, you know what?
But Joe, I'm a masochist, so you know what time it is? Recap!
What? We've already been at this for how long?
I know, that's what I'm saying. We could end this right now, and we did a good show. I'd be happy with that right there. But no, we could get
40 minutes. We've already talked about the episode.
Yeah, no, Joe. We open up to a full moon with bright flowers. Did you know?
Oh yeah, such great camera work.
Did you know? It was good editing, dude. It was good editing. Did you know that right away that this was a dream sequence? That your favorite? We start off with an Aaron dream sequence, and he gets to see all of his biggest villains show up. We see the whispers. We hear, I believe we heard a Negan whistle at one point.
I knew it was a dream right away because Aaron died last episode. So I'm just wondering who.
No, that wasn't Aaron last episode, Joe. That was not Aaron. That was Maggie's friend, Diddly Doo. I don't know, Ned Flanders. I don't know what the fuck his name was, but that's not Aaron. Not Aaron. So, but my favorite part of the entire episode is we get a flash of the T2 makes a return. We got one moment of Robert Patrick playing Terminator 2 at the end of Aaron's dream. So Aaron is facing some demons. Blah, 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 blah. We see Jerry sneak, and we get a very important scene where we see Jerry taking a piss. I mean, it is an important scene. We need to know that there's bathrooms, and I don't know if this is the first time we've ever seen it on The Walking Dead, but I feel like this is an epic moment. Joe, now that he's gone, well, let's talk awesome. This episode was great, right? We got to see stuff we've never seen before. The thing we saw before that we've never seen before is we saw a character take a leak. I don't know if this was the very first time we've seen someone actually go to the bathroom in The Walking Dead, but
no, did we
get another bathroom
scene?
scene?
With the whole shit buddies,
right? But we did get one with the whole shit buddies, but I don't think we ever saw someone take a shit.
Somebody that went to go take a leak or a piss or a shit at some point. Carol, she didn't ever like squat for us once.
I don't think we saw it though.
Standing there with Daryl, one of the women squatted.
Dude,
for us.
I'm not sure if we saw it.
No, I'm thinking of like The Hunt with that was just out on Netflix. That chick from Glow squatted. Someone.
But yeah, I don't know. Very possible. People let us know. Was this the first actual going to the bathroom?
And he didn't bring a ship buddy with him. He had to wake all the ship buddies up.
No, and he almost got bit.
It's a good thing he was inside.
But Negan and Maggie had a very distinct conversation later in the episode.
How did this dude get dead on the outside? They found one dead. They found a guy dead. And they found dudes already at the gate by the time they got at the opening. Why wasn't the bell already being alarmed?
Fair enough. I know Jerry only saw that from the Pissadoo. And Atari Dead says not Aaron's name was Cole, Joe. Cole was who died last week. Cole.
Cole was dreaming this week?
Cole. No. Aaron was dreaming this week. Who's on first? What's on second? I don't know. Third base. Okay, so
it should have been Aaron that died with an axe to his fucking face.
Maybe
it should have been the priest. It should have been any of our people.
Main characters. The season is
and boom, yeah, that's it. That's your dude. That's how Aaron fucking died. No one gets to go stand there and be like, Aaron! Oh my god!
So
boom, there's an axe in his face. Nobody fucking noticed because everybody's running for their own fucking life and scattering. Boom. Not some fucking schmuck no name. Maybe Daryl. It would have been nice. You know what? It would have been fucking awesome if it was Daryl. If Daryl just out of nowhere had taken that axe to the face. At least I would have been like, wow, Walking Dead, you have balls. And I can't believe Like, even though you were teasing Daryl tonight, special guest on the Talking Dead, I didn't see it coming because it was, and then nobody cried over it because nobody noticed because everybody was actually running.
Or
for
if
their
they
own
killed
fucking
Maggie
life
in that first episode when
middle of
Negan,
the night.
or if they killed Maggie when Negan dropped her in that first episode. I know she
And
just
showed her get fucking
ripped apart.
Yes, absolutely. Any of those things, it would have been less impactful because who gives a fuck about Maggie at this point? Like, seriously, she's been nothing but like,
dude, how awesome would that have been?
How many people from our place now or her team has she gotten killed on this little adventure?
Everyone except for that ninja guy. And to Maggie's point, I would have loved the Walking Dead writers and whole show staff if they were the saltiest motherfuckers in the world and they brought her character back just to kill her in a couple of episodes.
To say fuck you, your shit failed.
Yeah.
And now we close that fucking shit for our viewers.
Dude, I would come out here in glory talk every episode of The Walking Dead.
Laugh my ass
Dude,
off.
I would applaud them. I would call AMC and celebrate them.
If her show had fucking hit,
she wouldn't have been back.
Oh, dude. She never would have come back.
She wanted out so fucking bad. She wanted that show to hit, and nope. Nope.
Yep.
But yeah, absolutely. If I would have a couple of opportunities, and I think all jokes aside from comparing it to Fonzie jumping the shark type stuff, but the Glenn Dumpster thing isn't necessarily about that symbolizing a moment at The Walking Dead where they lost their way, but where it is that was a moment that they had in their hands. I love Glenn. I loved him as a character. I enjoyed him. People complain about how Negan took him out in that way, but I was not complaining about that. What I complained about is that they didn't kill him in that way because if I remember the scene correctly, there was that idiot guy, Nick, who was a coward, and he sort of left Glenn to die and ran away, and that created a real dramatic moment when watching the episode. I think if you come and watch our recap afterwards, we were both, whoa, I can't believe The Walking Dead had balls to kill a character out of nowhere in a shocking way, not like they killed Tyrese when he's looking at pictures and going, I'm ignoring my back. I'm ignoring those sounds behind me. Oh my! But they killed him in an actual interesting way, just to say no.
You know why?
And that
Game of Thrones was so awesome, Phil. Aside from it being written amazingly in books, but you know why it was so awesome?
At its height, anyone could go at any time.
No. Even before its height, you know why it was so awesome and became as awesome as it was for so many fucking people in the world that never read the books or only talking about the show? Because they killed Ned Stark, because they took this moment that was set up to be TV cliche, because they said, we're going to put him on stage, we're going to capture him, we're going to say, oh, look here's your hero, everybody, we're going to kill him, look, he's on his knees.
Yeah, we're going to send him to the wall with his son.
Look, here's the mercy. Oh, haha, look at everybody, we're just kidding, we're not going to kill him. Chop. Just kidding again. He's
Joffrey rule.
End the fucking show.
Joffrey rules, Stark's drool. Bye.
That's why. Because everybody was then left with their jaw on the fucking ground. You throw that axe, it hits Daryl in the fucking face. You leave Glenn to die. You let those fucking zombies eat Maggie. These are the things that
Joe, to your point,
chosen poorly every time.
Joe, to your point, that's what The Walking Dead had before. They had it, but they lost it. They had that thing. They didn't have deep storytelling. They didn't have the greatest character development.
There was no main party because everybody was in the party. There was a party, and people had to die in the party. So people died in the party or left the party. But then there was eventually a main party, a long-lasting cast that they just decided, and then the party became everybody who ever gets invited to Alexandria.
You want to shock people?
First in, last in, first out.
I'm sorry. You want to shock people? WWOZ do. What would Oz do? Oz would kill him. You kill him. You have interesting characters. You fucking kill him. They kill them all.
Were you supposed to feel bad when you saw fuckface Kevin underneath the fence or whatever, underneath the burned down place? If this place is so fucking burned down and there are these burnt corpses and burnt wood everywhere, why didn't every zombie in the fucking area walk into the goddamn fire? don't they like to watch and look at and walk into the fire? Didn't they establish?
I
that
don't know.
shit
The
a couple
rules in
seasons
these
ago?
walkers change
Like,
every
what the
day.
fuck?
So we're not here all night. I'm gonna do a little.
Why didn't you like ever dig troughs around your fucking and put
Oh,
spikes in
like
them?
moats and
Like,
stuff?
Moats, like
Yeah.
really? Like you didn't have time? That wasn't enough
Isn't it been
time?
11 years?
I mean, come on, look how old those kids are.
Give those kids a job and so they don't have to shit talk each other. Have them dig the trough. Okay, so Ezekiel went from king to dog catcher. I don't think Ozzy would kill anybody. Okay, so we see Jerry sneak out and take a piss, and at this point, this is a metaphor for all of The Walking Dead watching Jerry take a piss, and
really, Jerry, everybody's in such dire emergent times. You're letting everybody sleep in. Because there's not work that could be fucking done. There's not obviously fucking piss poor holes in the fucking fencing that, little boy zombies can get tortured through.
It's okay.
can get picked on by little shit fucking.
So they go on a quick fix the hole, kill a walker party, which to Joe's point and something he said earlier, I don't agree with every single scene you're saying looks horrible, but this scene looked horrible. Rewatch it, look at some of the background extras with the way that they were dealing with the walkers and fixing the wall. There was at one point where Aaron's just wrestling with one for like 20 minutes, and he's just like
big iron.
He's just like it was really bad. And then like you see a couple other people like doing a dance with some walker. It looked really not good. So yeah, they go on a quick fix on that.
That's because you had to see how he's not making good choices. And that this was going to be an Aaron focus episode to see just how poor of decision maker he actually is.
And
so
they showed Carol,
this fucking guy, who obviously isn't trying to fight back, obviously didn't try to send the walkers at them, obviously knew that they were all probably fucking there in the first place,
and didn't care.
And why would I tell? You've just fucking clobbered me. I stood here as you killed all the zombies around me. You then clobbered me, tied me up, and have threatened to hurt me and are hurting me, and you want me to tell you where my family is downstairs, hiding and cowering, so that you don't kill them too? And maybe if you didn't do this, they would have come out and been like, please don't hurt us too. That bitch that took over was a real fucking psycho. Like, we had a choice, either she kill us or you guys kill us or we kill you. So we chose to try not to die.
Now, Lady Stoneheart, hey, Lady Stoneheart, Kimmy G, great to see you. Catagate says, and hello, Phil, the Issues guy, and Joe Dirty Lux. So I obviously missed most of the review, but how was this episode? Is it a Tara, a Henry, or a Carl? I say it's a Henry. It was a Henry. The irony is that Glenn got stuck under the dumpster to save Enid, who got killed by Alpha, who you tell one lie, it leads to another. So we're going to be bouncing around differently, not point for point in the episode for expediency here. So we go over to the Commonwealth. We see a Commonwealth. We get a funny video intro that Joe knew I was going to like, and I did like. I like cheesy intros like that, over-the-top goofiness, the shit buddy videos like that. I like it reminded me of, it's been done a billion times in a billion things. You're right. The Walking Dead's not doing anything unique or interesting or breaking the mold, but they recreated that same scene you see in a lot of things where people are at an Orient.
You've seen it on Babylon 5. You've seen it on Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah, you see it on
Nine. You've seen it in.
You see it on the Expanse. You see it on the Expanse. You see it on Total Recall. You've seen it in like a lot of things. A lot of things. But it was a success. You see it in Lost, but it was a successful version of
seen
those.
That shit before. How much shit fucking writing can you blatantly fucking pilfer and try to pawn it off like it's
now
good?
Catagate has a comment.
Blatant.
Catagate has a random comment from Twitter, someone watching us. Angela King is saving The Walking Dead, Joe. Quit being so negative.
Okay, you go. Saving it for what? It's ending. She killed it. She was the final nail in the coffin. How did she save it? Ratings must still be getting progressively worse this season.
Oh, they're horrible. They're so horrible.
I can't see how they have gotten any better with what's been going on.
They were so horrible.
Anybody who hasn't tuned in a while and watches one of these episodes isn't going to be like, I'm back. I need to know what's happened in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 fucking seasons.
It's so bad that they got
God.
Greg
Thank God.
They got Greg Nicotero, the old showrunner, to direct this episode. And the Cattigat says great. The Walking Dead is starting to be like Planet of the Apes show of the 70s. Bliss, a sensitive man, is in the live chat. Great to see him. Commonwealth, we see a fun intro video. They have 50,000 strong. Potentially there. I don't think they really have 50,000 people, but they say they have 50,000 people. Images of the great community, future stuff, the future Stormtrooper guys, bad VHS quality.
Is it 50,000 right there? Because 50,000 is a big number. That's a really big
yeah.
number.
That's what they said. They said 50,000. Is there 50,000 people in the community? Okay, before we go too far, let's stop on a point that's actually interesting. Is there 50,000 people there, Joe? You think, or is this all bullshit? Is this all propaganda?
Did that look like a community the size of
Peabody?
No, yeah,
Peabody,
yeah,
right?
maybe
Peabody, Lynn.
maybe there, yeah. No, Lynn's closer to 100.
Swamp's got, I know, is 13. Marble is like 20, something like that. So like 50 is probably about. We're mentioning random towns near where we live. So think about a town or something, a city the size of 50,000 people.
No, when they say that, it could be over like a bunch of communities, like the Hilltop and Alexandria, and
now Cattigat says in the comic books,
4 or 5 little cities like that, and there you go.
Cattigat adds in the comic book they do mention 50K a lot, but we never actually saw it. So, okay, thank you for that bit of information. So we don't actually know if that's true or not. We're going to keep that as whatever. At least they're staying above 1 million viewers, says Atari Dad. Rick and Morty slipped below 1 million viewers last season. Even through season 5 was a bit weak. 1 million from what was the all-time high that The Walking Dead had of viewers? Got to be around...
Well, even Rick and Morty has slipped. Like, those first 3 seasons were great. They took an extended vacation or whatever you want to come back, and like they haven't.
It never quite reached the heights for you again, Joe.
I don't think for anybody really it hasn't reached those heights. It's still a good show. It's still fun. It's still entertaining. I still watch it, but it lost something.
It lost a little heat. Did it
3.
lose a little heat on its fastball, so to speak?
Yeah.
It happens. Yeah. It happens. Very, very few shows keep that through the whole run, especially animated series.
It really seems like, I don't know. I can't pinpoint why, but it seems like it's lost a little something. But
no, some shows are like that. Okay, so anyways, Futurama is one of my favorite shows of all time. I like all of it from beginning to end. That first run on Fox is better than any time that they came back. I can't put my finger on what's not quite right about when it came back. It was always still good. It was never bad to me, but it never quite reached the heights of the Fox seasons for me. And I can't quite put my finger on why it didn't, but it was still always a great fucking show that I watched because all the voice actors were great. The stories were still fun. But those first Fox seasons before it was originally canceled were probably my favorite animated series of all time, whereas later on it just didn't quite reach that. So it's sounding similar in the way you're describing the Rick and Morty thing. We got the Walking David having computer issues, so my episode 5 review isn't out yet. Walking David, great to hear from you. Having come from just having computer issues myself, it is a pain in the ass when it goes fast and hard, and you're shocked. You're like, oh fuck, what am I gonna do? My computer's screwed up. I can't do anything. So sorry, The Walking David. Hope you get repaired very quickly. So let's finish this up. The Commonwealth, we see at the Commonwealth, Eugene and Princess and Ezekiel are given their work assignments. As Joe said, they're given their labor assignments and forced into these positions that people are best apt for. But we do get a little hint later of what Joe was saying, where the guy that's the doctor, Yumiko's brother, is working as a pastry chef, is actually a doctor.
And not a surgeon.
And she's like, well, you should be working as a surgeon. He's like, shut the fuck up. He's like, don't say another word. Don't mention that. So obviously they have an issue with doctors. Some doctors have been strung up and killed because they didn't save people's lives. I don't know. That leads me to believe there's...
Like, how did you get because they didn't save people's lives?
I don't know. Just because why else would a doctor
like
not...
She already told them that my brother is a doctor.
Right, but maybe that's the first they've ever heard of that. And now he's going to be forced into like doctors.
He didn't say don't say that again. Don't.
He did.
Don't.
He said don't screw this up for me.
Right, but he didn't say don't keep calling me a doctor. Don't tell anybody I'm a doctor. Nothing like that.
He didn't say let's play doctor either. So there's no weird relation. There's no Jamie and Cersei thing going on between them either. So that's good. That's good. So at the Commonwealth, they're each given their work assignments. Princess is working retail. She got her $2 bill back. Ezekiel is animal control because he worked at a zoo. Yumiko's role is she's going to join Section 31. And she's been invited to join they. Yeah, because she's a lawyer and she showed initiative in the initial meeting, so she's getting drafted to the special forces group, and she's office of.
I found nothing different in the things that she said than say Ezekiel said.
They needed somebody that to be our Dr. Bashir. I mean, while. That to get our voice into Section 31, and I guess here we go. Potentially for some interesting stuff, Joe. I guess if the Section 31 stuff is kind of cool and some
riveting, I'm sure.
Okay, I feel like you're in a position right now where they can't do anything to please you. You're ready to break up. You're ready to break up with your partner right now, and everything they do annoys you. And
I'm not. They left me.
They left you, but they still want you though.
I'm still here, man.
You're trying your best to make it work.
What are they? I mean, come on.
They love you, Joe. They love you.
What? How many? Every week I come out here and I talk about the cliche writing that they keep throwing at us, the repeated story arcs, the awful dialogue, the now incredibly worsening
acting
and special effects and music, and the blatant ripoff of the music from the certain video game that Angela Kang has blatantly said she was.
No, she says inspired by post-apocalyptic video. I'm sorry, I can't say that word. Post-apocalyptic video games.
Specific post-apocalyptic.
She didn't say a specific one. She said games.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, 1 and 2.
Because she knows the lawsuit's coming.
Someone's about to get sued.
Right, like.
So anyways, they get their job assignments. Eugene is going to make sure. Eugene is the one that speaks up the words of wisdom here or reason when everyone else is drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit. He's like, we can't forget our plan here. Our plan is to help our people. We need to help our people. That's what we need to do. And I don't get any perpetuation of the negative impact of too many talks. And blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, Eugene. So she gets... Yumiko goes over to the cupcake stand, and she goes to a local bakery. She meets out with her brother, Tommy, who she hasn't seen in a very long time. It's kind of a funny moment when Tommy sees her and drops the cake. They discuss how...
Okay, can we discuss how stupid our fucking group is? Like,
please.
We were about to escape because these people seemed like complete fucking psychos to us. When we didn't, only because, that chick's brother is here. But now that we're here, let's start committing like the most awkward espionage shit. Like,
now Lizard
we'll all go sneak into the government radio building. Like, nobody's gonna notice the four of us fucking that nobody's ever seen before.
Sneaky.
And just let us all walk into where they've presumably been working and living for quite some time now without any new faces. Like,
Joe, someone in the chat has an answer to our first question about that, about why Yumiko might have been picked. Lizard in the live chat says Yumiko called them out on many of their behaviors and read their behaviors and told them about them. No one else that we saw did that, so that maybe is why she got selected for the special forces group.
Didn't I say Ezekiel did that shit?
No, Ezekiel talks shit. He didn't necessarily go all legal beagle on them.
Failed cop instead of
but I
went to West Point, but he didn't say I graduated.
No, she went legal.
Like I not only graduated West Point, but I also was in the military.
She went legal beagle though. She researched
because he's a failed West Point. Fucking not a failed cop.
She researched the rules and the laws and went legal beagle on it, and to that point, maybe that was different than other people usually approach the situation. So maybe that's why she got invited into the group, because that group is going to be, when we meet them in the special organization, is going to be a bunch of lawyers and like high-end business types that are trying.
Who gives a fuck about lawyers and high-end business types right now?
They
really?
care about themselves. I'm saying that if you're in a community where you're safe from the walkers on the outside because you have this militaristic organization controlling your every move, you're going to give a shit about the bullshit like that more. And you're going to invite people into your special sniff my farts crew. And that's probably they're inviting Yumiko into like the hoity-toity, we're better than everyone crew. We're the people that run things. They're inviting her to be one of them and they.
So because of whatever it is we have supposed to have been seeing from these people,
The Commonwealth people?
Yes.
Yes.
Whatever it is we've seen from them at this point, they bake fucking cakes. Okay, Carol baked cookies at one point.
Yeah, yummy cookies.
Yummy fucking cookies, right? But like, okay, we're supposed to believe that they would be any more capable, right? Any more capable of dealing with, say, the Whisperers than our crew was and our 4 communities were, right? And on top of that, you're saying this knowing that, Princess Ezekiel, okay, well, let me start this way. Ezekiel, okay, but also with the help from the lawyer chick, who I guess is kind of capable, Eugene and Princess, right, somehow got out of that cage, got the 2 lovers in their uniforms, and then failed to actually get away, right?
Or chose not to.
Right, and so that even these fuckers were able to escape somehow from this compound.
Or they let them go because they didn't give a crap at that point. If you want to leave, leave.
Right, we don't know because like it was fucking magical somehow. Thank you, Walking Dead, to leave.
They do have cameras. Oh, to someone asked in the live chat, Bliss, the sensitive man, says, "Wait, did Kang admit to taking ideas from The Last of Us?" No, she didn't directly admit, but
yes.
If you go back and you watch last week's episode, they have this
before I start mentioning it. Before that,
okay. Besides the obvious angle that Angela King was
that shit before.
So Joe mentioned it 2 weeks, but
yes.
Let me answer Bliss's question. Last week at the end of every episode of The Walking Dead now, or almost every episode, Angela King does her Dan and Dave impression, where she talks after the episode to explain to you what she was trying to do. And in last week's episode, she talked about the music, the scene. I forget exactly what she was making reference to, but she specifically said, and I mentioned this a second ago, that through this season and through this episode, we've been looking at all sorts of different stuff for inspiration, comic books that we've done, but specifically looking at post-apocalyptic video games. And she specifically said that, and she focused on that for a second and kind of smiled. And I wonder what games she could have been talking about. So she didn't say the words Last of Us, but she was watching Joe talk. People do deliver videos of Joe to Angela King. They use Joe's picture as a dartboard in the writer's room. I've heard rumors. And
they must at this point. Like, I don't know if there's anything out there that's as vocally critical of this fucking show as we are, aside from the casual bitten fucking fan.
Yeah. I mean, we are a rare bunch, and I think in a lot of ways we're out of the echo chamber. So if people don't really want to hear it, don't say that about this show. Don't say it's about the show. And in fairness, I do argue with you about points that maybe I like and you don't like. And again, to mention it, this isn't like in the few years that we've been trashing the show. There are moments of which Joe enjoys, and if there's a good episode, I've heard you say it.
And I want to point out though, Phil, like we kicked off this season, you argue these points, right? And I point out why and what, and then like you had to do at the beginning of this podcast, what happens. How do those arguments work?
Yeah, I mean, in some cases they don't work out too well for me because there's something on the screen right now. I don't know what it is. It keeps flashing up every time I talk. Okay, so they discuss blah blah blah. and we get a couple of very interesting foreshadowy told lines where she's like, you're a doctor, you should be a surgeon, why aren't you helping people? And he says, shut the fuck up. She talks about helping her friends out, and she asks if that's possible. He says, anything's possible as long as you follow the rules.
Maybe I could be a surgeon one day.
Yeah, I guess anything's possible, Joe, as long as you follow the rules. And he also said he's happy, he wants to make cakes. Don't ruin this shit for me. This is the happiest I've ever been in my life. So we go to Eugene and Stephanie having ice cream. We get some old-timey music. Eugene and Stephanie have some ice cream. It's zombie apocalypse ice cream. Did you ever think you'd see two characters?
And we get the look from Eugene like, oh, wow. It's been forever since
I had ice cream. Oh, my God. I haven't had some ice cream.
Real nice lady Is that Rocky Road?
Am I going to have some Rocky Road ice cream, Joe? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Rocky Road.
She's like, don't look at me, as she runs away with like 3 cones.
Oh, my goodness. I would lose in fairness, this is the part of The Walking Dead that I like when you have scenes like this that create these moments. Imagine going, and I don't even know how big of an ice cream fan you are, but I couldn't imagine going 11 years without eating any ice cream. I
could.
Yeah, you're not a huge ice cream fan, are you?
Like, yeah, no. At that point,
you're more salty, savory than sweet for your munchiness.
Fat and carbs.
Yeah, but I don't often see you, like in my life, remember seeing you go get chocolate or ice cream or like stop by a Dairy Queen to get a Blizzard or something. That's not really your thing.
Donuts are my thing.
Okay, so that's your sweet treat would be a donut?
Pastry, a donut, any kind, almost any kind of fucking pastry. That bake shop, I'm fucking Kimco's brother at the end. My way into the fucking Commonwealth, and Kimco's brother is gonna be my bitch by the end of that fucking night. Are you kidding me? I walk into that shop, give me those cakes. Take the frosting out. I don't need the frosting, but the cakes, the bakery, someone in there is my bitch.
In the comic, from what I remember,
Rick by Newman's, Phil, I'd stop and I'd be like, "Hey, Mr. Newman, I'll suck your cock back there."
Yeah, there was this
burgers for a donut.
There was an awesome bakery that would like
3 in the morning.
3 in the morning, you'd be
anything.
We'd be walking home, yeah, and he'd have he'd make you something, and unfortunately that bakery doesn't exist
He was
anymore.
a wicked nice man. He would like. If he saw you walking by and you even like, you could smell it like half a mile down the street.
He's like, you want some?
At 3 in the morning, walking home, 4 in the morning. If you stopped and went, oh God, that smells, he'd be like, don't move.
Nope, don't move.
He'd bring you fresh anything he was.
Yeah, he'd bring the
hands and shit while you were walking away.
Fucking delicious. He loved feeding 3 in the morning hippies, But anyway, so Princess, we get the ice cream, blah, 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 blah. He can't stay. He has to help his friends. We get this somewhat set up, somewhat whatever situation where they talk about how they're going to break into a government institution, communication center to send a communication attempt to Alexandria. Princess flirts with that dude Mercer, and he calls her Princess in a very flirty way. They have some on-screen chemistry that isn't awful to watch, but again, it's a little out of place on The Walking Dead. I've said this before millions of times. I appreciate it in some contexts, but very few times have I had any believable, interesting romances on The Walking Dead from beginning to end. I just don't like them. I liked Abraham and Rosita, and I liked Rick and Laurie were cool. Rick and Michonne have their moments, but like even Maggie and Glenn, I feel like after a while they were just like props in the background. They're just not two characters interacting. I guess that's why I kind of liked Rick and Michonne, because they both were same personalities that we had, but they were clashed sometimes. They had different stuff, but I generally did like Rosita and Abraham and their dynamic with Eugene and stuff. But whatever. Princess and Stormtrooper have some mild chemistry. Now, the other two sneak into the communication center as an attempt to reach Alexandria, which is successful, but things turn bad. Mercer and his men capture Eugene, place him under arrest for unauthorized use of government property. They talk to,
how are we supposed to know it's unauthorized? This bitch works here.
Yeah, she said it was okay, but that's why I think it's a setup. She kind of like pushed it. Oh, it's not going to be a problem. And
yeah, don't worry about it. I work there. You can just come. You can walk right in, and we listen. How unauthorized? We walked in, we walked by, nobody stopped us, nobody asked us where we were going, nobody said, no, you can't use that. We walked in, I saw the radio tower. I said, where's the radio? She said, oh, it's this way. I work there. You can use it. What the fuck? Banish that bitch.
Now, they do have to pay for what they did one way or another, and Eugene faces exile and a trial. Everyone else seems like they're somewhat in trouble, but it's mainly focused on Eugene. But then the guy that did that cheesy commercial at the beginning...
Leave it, wait, also, leave it to the judge. Wait a second, you're the one throwing charges at me right now.
And the guy, Lance, the guy from the cheesy commercial, shows up and has other plans or something for Eugene. He says you can have to pay, but you're going to pay a different way. What do you think he has in mind for Eugene and the crew here? This other guy. I don't know. And I wonder if Joe doesn't care. And I wonder if we're going to meet real Stephanie at some point in time. Lizard says the real Stephanie works directly for Pamela Milton, which gives her access to the comms. She was the one who liked the rocky road. So again, we're doing some comic information to yield some information about what might be going on, but we're at completely different tracks between the graphic novel and the show because different characters are involved in different situations. So if people are watching us and cautious of spoilers or what might happen, I feel like the graphic novels in this situation are not what's going on. They're just more of a way of enhancing what's happening on screen because we're not getting enough details. So I do appreciate stuff like that. Oh, The Walking David left us. Oh, and we got a super chat donation, Joe, from Bliss, a sensitive man. No comment or question, just giving us a $9.99. Thank you so much, Bliss, a sensitive man. Very much appreciate that. We appreciate all of our viewers, but we especially love our super chat donators. You guys mean a lot to us. Thank you. Okay, so we're doing a little bit of a different kind of recap here where we're going area to area. So let's get into Alexandria and Hilltop. Now, they meet talking about how they're fucked and they need to go to Hilltop to check some shit out. Rosita wants to leave. And it seems to me at this point in time, the writers have no clue what to do with even the characters that they've known for years, let alone some characters that are just strays. I feel bad for actresses like the actor playing Rosita because she doesn't have shit to do. All they can have her do is be as the voice of dissent. And every time we have characters getting a plan, Rosita goes, I don't know about that plan. She's the one. She's the one that does that every fucking time right now because they don't have anything else to do with her.
Right, she to the point where she's even sitting there telling the little kid not to feel that way.
Right, and then
feel the way you're feeling, kid.
And then we have a scene with her and Judith, and Angela Kang at the end of the episode is like, this is a scene to show how Judith has many, many mums throughout the group. And I'm sorry, just having someone that's been around the scene. I can't remember. Tell me if I'm wrong. People in the comment section, in the chat, if you give a shit, tell me, am I wrong? Have Rosita and Judith shared many scenes before? Because it seemed like that was the first one.
5-year jump, Phil. Don't forget about.
Okay, then give me, if you're going to have a big emotional scene, give me a few scenes with them spending time together so I know that they give a shit about each other. Instead, have a scene with Judith and someone that actually knows her and gives a shit about her instead of somebody that's just been around that I just don't know even knows her. I know she does because it's been 5 years. She's been around, obviously, but they haven't taken the moments to establish the scene that we get with Judith and Rosita later. That's supposed to be this deep moment between these two characters where Rosita's being a de facto mom and kind of offering up some good information and almost saying in a way, it's okay that your mom and dad ditched you. It's fine. Don't worry about that. It's nothing. Well, basically, that's what she's trying to tell her. It's okay that your mom and dad are both.
Everybody's abandoned you in your life.
Yeah, they're still alive. Your mom, especially, because they don't know Rick. But your mom's alive somewhere. But she just doesn't. She's doing more important stuff than like raising you. It's okay.
Yeah, no, none of them care. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. But I just felt like it was a completely unnecessary scene. Okay, and then we also get off to Maggie and Negan killing team. We don't trust each other, and then we get the friggin' same record-breaking, I don't trust you. Do you trust me? I don't trust you. You don't trust me, but you should trust me. But we should not trust you. I want to kill you. Did you want to kill me? I should die. Oh my God, I want to kill you. Every moment I think about killing you. Oh my God, I'm going to kill this walker that almost killed you and throw a ninja char in his face because, I need you, even though I don't really need you, but I need you because why? And okay, so then we get the Judith training people. And then we get the pilot for the Walking Dead's Kid Club show, some kid bullies, Herschel, and then Judith goes a little Shane on him.
I like how the zombie that happens to be at the hole is a kid as well.
Good acting. It was good. It's like poetry. It rhymes, Joe. It's poetry. It rhymes. We got a voicemail from, and I'm not sure who just called us. Let's see who we got on the line right now. It could be someone from the zombie apocalypse, but let's see. This is from let's see, who is this?
I just wanted to say that I do emphatically believe this episode could be summed up with that said ice cream scene. For example, I asked that young lady if that ice cream was indeed Rocky Road, which happens to be the very kind of road that our small group of banditos happen to be on. She, of course, ignored me, making me feel as if I should walk into a field of walkers with a pork chop around my neck. As soon as I asked that question, Stephanie shoves an ice cream cone in my mouth. I, being the inquiring audience member in this proverbial example, pseudo-Stephanie being the Walking Dead writers, and the ice cream cone being a pretty distraction in an otherwise poorly written world. Well, I'll leave you to it.
I think Eugene says it all right there. Thank you as always. Make sure you check it out. The Walking David's reviews and on TikTok, YouTube, everywhere. Walking David is our friend, man, and will be joining us at some point soon here for one of these. Just I have to figure out how to do 3 people here, but I think we can do it. But great to see David in the live chat. Thank you for always leaving us awesome voicemails. Keeping things fun. Anyone else wants to leave a voicemail, you can do that at 781-990-8509. So we get the little training scene with, and I didn't even notice that, Joe, by the way. Thank you for pointing that out, that it was a kid walker. But now that you're saying that, I remember it's part of the reason why it looks stupid, because it was like a little kid walker. So Judith goes a little Shane on him, draws it down, a crocodile done.
You should have fucking stabbed him. This dude put his hands on you, little girl.
Yep.
Don't let anybody do that. Fucking stab that little boy right through the fucking neck with your sword.
She thought about it.
All those other fucking kids there a lesson. Not only did you talk shit, like you're being a dick and you're not taking my word right now, but now no, she should have just fucking run the motherfucker right through.
Cattigat, I do think Maggie and Negan are gonna fuck. And
whose kid is that?
The girl?
No, not the girl.
Oh, like, Dick Cheese?
First off, where did all these fucking kids come from? Whose kid is that?
I don't know. Dick Cheese's son. I'm not sure who he is. I did like how Judith went a little Crocodile Dundee there, where she was like, this is a knife. She went a little Shane, but Shane would have, her real daddy would have just stabbed the guy. The kid's on.
Okay with that.
Oh, actually, the
mom or dad or whoever it was, whoever's fucking parents, that kid.
Speaking of parents, we get some information in the live chat, and this just shows what a disappointment The Walking Dead has turned. That's turned into this nepotism family thing. And no offense, I know Jeffrey D. Morgan, if he ever sees me in public, is going to punch me in the face for saying this, but fuck you for having your kid play a zombie in an episode. It's stuck out like a sore fucking thumb. The kid in the kid zombie was Jeffrey D. Morgan's son.
Of course. That's fucking stupid.
That's fucking stupid. It is fucking stupid. It's stuck out because they wanted to do everything Kids Club. We
haven't seen a kid walker in so long.
They had to do it, Joe, because we're watching the Kids Zombie Hour. That's my point earlier when I bitched.
They were probably like, oh well, we're already paying for all these kids to be here at this hour.
We might as well get another kid. And do you know what would be really cool? It'd be like poetry. It will rhyme if we have a zombie be a fucking walker too.
Kid the bully part. They gave the kid the zombie just sit there and go part. Good job, fucking Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan. What the fuck? You couldn't even get your kid a speaking role? Or does that count? Did the moaning count?
It counted. Walking David says that stupid Maggie and Negan tension really does make me think they're gonna have to become a couple. I agree, David. I feel like they've been
fucking bad,
dude. I feel like they've been. I feel like they've been shoving this up our fucking pee holes for fucking like a few episodes. They've been giving us penis cultures with this shit, dude. They've been sticking it in. I feel like it. I feel like they're force feeding this. By the end of the season, they're gonna have a kiss or a hug or a moment. I don't think they're gonna full out be a couple, but I think there's going to be a moment where something almost happens at some point. Sexual tension is gonna reach an apex point, an Apex Legends point. So we get the Walking Dead Kids Club, and the kid bullies. That's where Joe wishes he was doing. He's like, can we end this fucking podcast so I go back to video games here? And Judith is upset that her handprints were broken by Dick Cheese douchebag kid of him and her and Carl's handprints.
He said he didn't do it.
Yeah, I
You
believe him.
gonna stab me now too?
And then we have a scene with like all the kids like, I got your back. No, I got your back. I'll help you fix it. No, we'll help you fix it because we're kids club. I
Right,
mean,
because we don't want to kill the bully. We're just glad he's bullying
Joe,
you and not
Goonies
us.
never say die, Joe. They should have. I was almost waiting for what.
These kids broke it because they don't like her either. She's all bossy, teaching them how. You guys line up, and I'll tell you what to do.
Okay,
I'm the
I just had a
I
horrible.
know better than all of you other kids that are my same age because my mommy and daddy abandoned me.
Now, The Walking Dead is so unoriginal. I am calling this right now that sometime this season in the next 19 episodes, we're going to get one episode that is an all kids episode called Stranger Things. It's going to be an episode, and that's going to be the title of the episode. It's going to be Walking Dead Season 11, Episode 11, Stranger Things. And it's going to be an episode about Judith and her little crew that we've been meeting in these episodes. Young Herschel, the other girl that was, I don't know who she is. Is that Aaron's daughter? There was like 4 of them, and it's gonna be an episode about the 4 of them getting lost in the woods, a bottle episode about them having to find their way back, and it's gonna be about them encountering some strange things, so they'll rationalize the name. Maybe it won't be called Stranger Things, but that episode's coming. That episode is fucking coming.
If that does come, Phil, this is what that this is.
I'm right, Joe.
And I'm not going to say no, they're not going to do that because this is The Walking Dead. And I'll tell you, and some people might actually be thinking, Phil, that would be a good episode, right? Show how the kids have learned, what they've taught the kids and all this and all that, right? Right? But this is what that's really going to accomplish. Even if they have 100% of them get back just fine and fight walkers and this and that, right? What they've done is show that all the adults are fucking idiots and morons and incapable of taking care of themselves because a bunch of 5-year-olds, kill their way.
That's going to be the episode, Joe.
And manage to defeat the zombies, but
every
now and then one of these like adults die.
Kids rule, adults drool. Again, that's gonna be a big thing.
Right? And then if one of them gets bit or one of them dies, then what they've accomplished is killing a child on fucking national television for some sensational reason to get like.
Don't worry, no one's
fine with. But a lot of people might not be with watching that.
Joe, no one's watching.
Okay with it.
No one's watching. Herschel Jr. is a bad actor too. Also, the kid who plays RJ is a terrible actor, represent Michonne and Rick's kid. It'll be like Stand By Me. Judith is the only one of the group of kid actors that's doing a decent enough job, especially because I feel like the show did have some decent kid actors before. Madison Lance, or the girl that played Tell Me About the Flowers, like the two little kids with Carol. I thought both those kids were good actors. I thought they've had some.
What happened to the little boy?
Henry.
What happened to
Henry.
Little
Okay,
boy, man. Where the fuck is the little boy? Everybody looks for Carol's kid, but what happened to that?
You're getting Tim excited. Okay, so Judith is training some people. She just fuck the bullies. So then we go to Rosita, talking to her about Curl and about how everyone's gone. She cries and asks if it get easier, and she worries that she'll forget about them. And oh my God, the dialogue is horrid. This was the scene where I wrote in exclamation marks over and over again. The dialogue in the scene is just horrible. Like, they could write these 2 actors better shit, because Rosita is not horrible, but delivering this dialogue, it's because Natalie Portman's not to do another Star Wars thing. Natalie Portman is a good actress, but delivering that George Lucas horrible dialogue, she sucked. Same with like Hayden Christensen can be okay. I've seen him in movies where he's okay, but delivering that dialogue, he sucks. Ewan McGregor can actually make bad dialogue sound good. So can frickin' what's his name? Liam Neeson. So that's why they were good in those movies.
I don't know how many.
But Rosita in what was that? Rosita in Judith's dialogue was horrible. What, Joe?
How many parents out there, really, honestly, have seen their kids at this level of cry? This is a very mature level of crying.
She's an older kid.
I understand it from what I've ever seen with children when they cry, it's either on or fucking off. It's either the end of the fucking world or I'm not sad one bit.
But
this is a pretty like contemplative, moment for
She's
the girl.
mature, Joe. She's a mature
looking
girl.
at this broken thing and wondering about the future and maybe not remembering what her parents are like and that kind of shit with little tear in her eye and able to comprehend and understand what this grown adult is telling her about how to get on with her life and not forget, hold on, and everything will be okay. But like I'm sorry, that's really fucking good. Her, you know, she's being teased about her parents fucking abandoning her, and like,
Joe,
and
she's
possibly like threatening somebody's life and killing them, thinking about killing them or what, like, just
no. I agree with the
parents out there. Should this girl not just be like completely fucking broken right now, crying? Or
no, because
like,
she's growing up in this world, Joe. I agree with
she's
what.
Still 7 years old, dude.
Is she? Didn't she say she's like 12 or 13? Or
11. Like, no, not 13. 11,
Joe, she's Neo. She's the Neo.
Dude, no. Like,
she's the one.
Straight up fucking no.
She's the one. She's the kid from V, that like the half-breed child. She's the one. She's special. She's Wesley Crusher of this world.
And like that's what like raised by faux ninja Michonne. I found a fucking samurai sword in an apartment and I'm a samurai Michonne.
Yeah, she's like Shane in Michonne's bed, baby. She's got the Shane DNA.
At least Morgan had somebody teach him how to use the weapon he was supposed.
That was a good episode. The cheesemaker episode. That was a good episode.
Right. You know, fucking what's his name's older brother there?
Yeah.
Carrey's Jim Carrey.
Not Jim
Carrey, whatever.
Drew Carey?
Drew Carey.
Yeah, it was what's his name? Drew Carey's brother. From the Drew Carey show, yeah. Okay, so Rosita tells a story to bond with Judith. It's horrible. Meanwhile, the group of Alexandria still needs supplies, and they're getting desperate. Maggie's supply run, his episode is delayed. When a piece of steel wall breaks down, zombie hurt, blah, blah. It isn't helping. Maggie and Negan are separated from the others to find a stash in Meridian. They eventually get to Meridian where they find their stash. Negan thinks it's a horrible idea to wait for everybody, and Negan, again, have the same conversation he's been having for 4 fucking episodes. We need to go back. We need to ditch everybody. And this is the first time it didn't make sense. I agreed with him in the first 4 episodes every time he had this conversation. Here, it just seemed repetitive and stupid. And
right. Like how many times are you gonna say this? Negan, either fucking leave, and go back,
dude.
And stay and do what she said.
He sounds like me in a high school relationship. I'm like, I want to leave. I'm breaking up with you. Like, you know, when you're constantly breaking, just leave. Shut the fuck up and leave if you want to leave the goddamn relationship.
Right? Like if you're a grown fucking man.
Yes.
She's not keeping you at gunpoint. You want to go back, Negan? Turn around and go the fuck back. What is she going to do for you at this point, aside from stay awake while you sleep, in which case you'll have to worry about her fucking slitting your throat?
Oh my God, Emerald has figured it out. Negan plus Maggie equals Naggy. I'm shipping Naggy all the way. That's fucking Naggy. Okay, so they plan to leave, or they plan to stay. Negan says, "I'm leaving at sundown," and again, he doesn't leave at sundown. We come back in at sunrise. Excuse me. They come back in the next day with them, and it's like 2:00 in the afternoon. And Negan's like, "I'm leaving now. Now I'm leaving." But Gabriel and Elijah, who is the ninja dude, show up at exactly the right moment, right as Negan's about to leave, and Maggie gets a smug look on her face as she's like, "Yeah, no one else survived. Daryl's out there somewhere. I don't know where Daryl went. He just walked off with dog somewhere."
As they were about to leave, or as they were about to kiss?
Maybe. It did look like they had a moment where there was some sexual tension between the two of them, where they were having a stare-off moment. And in fairness, also, Maggie, you are in a little bit of a hurry because that dude, Alden, or whatever his name is left injured in a building on the way that you said...
You guys said you would come back
as soon as possible. So when Negan's like, maybe we should leave now that we have the supplies, it might be actually a good thought because everyone else would just think to just go back to Alexandria because you're scattered at this point, not meet up at the other location that no one knew how to get to without Negan's help. So how did all these other people know how to get to this location if the only reason Negan was on the mission is because he was the only one that could get there?
And and here's the thing. Maggie knew of a spot from before she went to go meet these people where somebody had hid
the stash of shit.
And then she met all these people, and then they got attacked, and they went past all those supplies because they figured, Alexandria and Hilltop were all safe place. And they went there, and there was nothing. So she's like, I know this place in DC. If we go there, we can get this shit.
Do you know how to get there, Negan?
And Negan's like, oh, I know my way around DC because I've been there before.
I've been in
she's
the
like,
subway.
okay, you come. You can show me how to get back there if I tell you the street.
She wants him.
Yeah, I can do that. Okay, nobody else knows where the spot is. And hopefully they remember the name of the street.
Oh, I just thought about it.
It's a good thing they knew
Elijah the ninja guy does know where this is, and so he could have led Gabriel there when they met up. Okay. And also, Atari Dad, just to correct us for another thing, I was under the impression that it was the same day, but yet it was the day hadn't gone by yet. Negan just got impatient. It could have been that. I thought it was the next morning. That
they said because did he say sundown or sun?
I thought he said sunrise the next day.
I thought he said sundown.
Okay, maybe
they were moving at night, which was smart in my thinking, seeing as how they got attacked by night, and Maggie said, or somebody said, they only attack at night. And you never see them coming.
Now Elijah shows up to get some wine at the door, and oh yes, Negan and Maggie get into a fight at the end, and I also wrote it was hot. They have sexual chemistry, and the audience is playing it. Maggie is now absolutely certain that the waiting for the others to regroup is the best idea, and Negan reluctantly waits. So then we go back to Carol's group arriving in Hilltop Ruins, as we said before. They don't, and this is the last section that we're going to be talking about. They see everything burnt to the ground, is much worse shape than they even imagined. And we follow Aaron watching all of this, even though he already knew this was the case. Being back in the situation is driving Aaron nuts. This is the storyline where Joe and I have some differences in opinion. I didn't mind this whole section of the episode, but it was... Again, I'm starving for a cracker. I'm walking through the desert, and I'm starving for a cracker, and this scene gave me a little cracker because Aaron tries. The actor that plays Aaron actually tries on screen.
Oh, is this the torture?
Yes. We walk through...
We've had this, Phil. We've had this.
I don't mind that, Joe. I agree with your criticism that we do stuff. If things can be repetitive if they're done well. A lot of shows are repetitive.
What was done well?
Aaron's performance. Aaron's performance was good. Aaron's performance was done well.
It really wasn't. It
really was.
Really wasn't. Why? Let's examine, if you will, for a moment.
Let's go through the scene.
What really is setting Aaron off right now? Okay, because
his nightmare.
Every other time we've seen him, right, over the last whatever, it's been to tell Carol and to be that comforting, reasonable voice for Carol, right? Who's like slaughtering a fucking horse, right? And he comes in and holds the horse up. And the shit before that with Carol.
Oh yeah, his character's all over the place.
And then now he has a bad dream, okay? And he's gonna torture this fucking guy, something completely out of his character.
Yeah, I think
none of that makes any sense. None of that makes any sense. Let me just go back to what Lizard says here. At 11, she could not comprehend the way she does. She has had so much trauma, but she has had so much impulse control for what a 6th grader would. It's insane. I know I fucked up reading, but
no, it's fine.
But yes,
she's a superhero.
And now let's go look at Aaron, who's a middle-aged fucking adult and has been through all this shit and
lost a hand,
something right now completely out of fucking character, and who has been the comforting reason voice to Carol, the Jiminy Cricket on Carol's fucking shoulder every episode that we've seen them together in any fucking scene for as long as I can fucking remember, and now that's reversed. And you're going to tell me that's great acting and a good scene.
I didn't say it was good writing.
Please.
Shut the fuck up, Joe.
It's bad acting because the actor did it in the first place, because he said he didn't.
You can only do what's on the page.
You can stand there. No.
You can only do what's on the page. You can't argue with the fucking writers.
You can turn the fuck around and you can look the director and the room of fucking writers in the face.
You can't.
Go, you people out of
You don't meet those guys, Joe. This is where you don't meet those guys.
Write me dead, you insane fucking hack, and you piece of shit directors. Write me dead. Do your fucking fucking worse. I'll be happy to perform that scene over this piece of trash. And that's what you can do as an actor, Phil. That's the kind of integrity you should have, and that's the kind of person we should be fucking celebrating as that actor, not, okay, I'll do this because it makes so much fucking sense.
No.
And it will give me a chance to stretch my acting chops, which won't make any fucking sense to an intelligent fucking viewer. Sorry, I don't mean to insult you.
No,
or
that's fine.
anyone
That's fine.
else who liked it. That's not my intent. But
Yeah, it is, but that's okay.
any fucking sense, but you know, sure. No.
Actors change dialogue and say they do, but they can't change whole story arcs. They can change
That's
lines.
not a story arc. That's not a story. A story arc, Phil, is what they changed because he was the good Jiminy Cricket for Carol, who's been all traumatized.
No, yes, they change. That's what I'm saying. The writers change that. An actor can just change on set their line delivery. They can't just change the script. You can't just go, "Hey."
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
Because
Okay.
by changing
Okay.
the line
Okay. Yeah, you can. You totally can do that. You
That's what he does.
get tons of work doing that.
And like I just said, Phil, like I just said, he could have said, you know what? You know what? I know this is my last season, and I can't believe you're having me do this. Did you not read the script you wrote last
Walking David says,
Did
David.
you not read the script you wrote 3 fucking weeks ago? Did you not read the scripts you wrote me in every fucking scene you wrote me in concerning Carol? And this is the scenes you're about to have me fucking do? What the fuck is wrong with you? What kind of you know, circuitry is misfiring in there that you would do this to your fans, to the actors, to everybody involved?
Right. Don't blame Aaron. Aaron's trying. Anyways, let's get to the live chat.
Okay.
Cattigat says, poor Joey's going to have an aneurysm. Atari Dad agrees with you. The actors change the dialogue all the time. David also agrees with you. David would stand his ground with the writers. Star says, couldn't watch this episode without hearing Phil sing Muppet Babies when the kids were on tonight. Exactly. The kids' scenes were Walking Dead babies. La 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 la. Judith is cool. Walking Dead babies. See them get in wacky adventures. We're going to have the show. It's happening. There's going to be at least a few episodes of the anthology series when it comes out. This is the pilot for Walking Dead Kids. I'm telling you, it's going to at least be an episode, maybe an episode, if not a whole series of events. So sadly, Joe, Aaron's actor might have made that scene better by changing the dialogue to what it was on screen. Maggie and Negan sitting in a tree, Kissing. So, anyways, he realizes that the undead in
I had to read that again to understand it, but yes, that is probably sadly that's probably right.
It's probably true. It is probably true. But when he
you know what? It actually the scene itself could stand. You know who would have done better doing that? It would have been a kind of
Jack Bauer.
No, fucking big boy there. Fucking what's his name? He's the one that's got a problem with Kevin being dead under the fucking fence over there.
Yeah.
Why didn't they give him a fucking nightmare and then wake up from his nightmare
and have to go pee
and then freak out that there's a walker in the fucking
and it connects to his dream that he's just having there, and we follow him in Jerry.
So that would have and it would have yeah, it would have been all those same things I just said, but at least I don't know. It still would have sucked.
So, okay. So when he realizes that shit's going bad, he's like, shit bent wet. I don't know what to do. I'm dying. I'm coping with the insanity of living here in the apocalypse for so long. So we get into Aaron with he sees that a whisperer is organizing the horde group. Lydia points it out, and he runs over to him, grabs him, and the shit, he goes, shit went bad, and I said this earlier, the dude playing the whisperer was a really, really bad actor. The way he's whining was just not good. And Aaron thinks it might be a trap. Carol agrees, we got to put him in the cellar. They bring him down to the cellar. No dinner for this guy. They go down to the cells, and they find a whisperer mask, even though they knew he was a whisperer anyways. And they also find a couple of other guys, and Aaron goes nuts down there. Aaron loses it. You lied to my face. You lied right to my face. And the guy's like, we're not all monsters. And then it turns into a whole vibe where other dudes are like, these are the guys that burned down our city. You know, look what they did. They deserve to die. And so then the whisperers, he's like, tell me what you know. Tell me, are there more of them?
And no, these are the ones that burned down Alexandria.
Alexandria,
because,
right.
Look, this is a scarf from Alexandria. So then they came back here to meet back up with their friends,
Right.
but they were gone, so they stayed. And then he attacks them.
Right. Then he attacks them. They tie him up. They torture him with a walker.
And so at this point, Carol, you can shut the fuck up. I'm going to torture him, and I am going to fucking kill him. He tried to stab me with a knife.
He did. And then they set him up in a weird situation where they tie him up and they have a walker start to eat his hand, and they tell him that, or bite him. They get him bit. And he says, I'll cut off your hand and save you in this situation if you tell me what you know. And then that's when Carol steps in and does her, I'm totally nerfed now from being cool, Carol. And even though, and to Joe's point, we're completely reversing everything because it's poetry, it rhymes. I'm going to be the Jiminy Cricket for Aaron in this situation instead of Aaron being the Jiminy Cricket for me. And she tells him, you don't want revenge, blubbity, blubbity, blubbity. And he lets him go and tells him he can either chop his own hand off or chop his own hand with this rusty fucking knife. So one of those two things happens. We come back to him. He's got like a dirty cloth wrapped around his infected hand that just got chopped off. And I just got to say, yeah, we're out of the zombie apocalypse, but is staph infections?
Penicillin.
Yeah, are infections just not a thing in this world? He just got sliced with a fucking rusty knife and he's wrapping a dirty cloth around it. I'm sorry, unless he's like bathing that thing in the lakes, in the healing waters of Lake Minnetonka.
Sanitize.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? Do they have some? They have some hydrogen peroxide too? I hope.
Shot?
Yeah, they have a tetanus shot. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's been 11 years. He's out of the tetanus. Good point, Joe. Isn't it every 10 years you have to have your tetanus shot? So I don't want to get weird, but I'm pretty sure that dude's dead anyway. Or is he Arya and he can just deal with like stab wounds and just go into like a dirty, disgusting water and just come out of it and be okay? Maybe that's the case. You just spit on it. But whatever. He's not going to turn into a walker. Mandrell, we got the wonderful, the amazing Mandrell in the live chat. Mandrell, you didn't miss shit. And
we've been discussing that this whole time, Mandrell.
Yeah.
Why the show is still on the air. That's what you've missed.
Yeah. Oh my God, it is, Mandrell. Do you mean like Joe and I still in the air, like having to talk about this shit? That's what
because that's also like kind of part of it.
Yeah, it is part of it. Okay, so good thing he doesn't get an infection, but this all leads to a point where they do let him go because Carol gets to him, and they let them go and they let them just stay there. And in thanks for letting him stay there, because this dude's like, Alpha would never do this. Alpha would never have a second cup of coffee at home. He says, I'm going to tell you about one of your people that's still alive. And so we find out with certainty that these guys saw Connie at a point in time.
Why didn't he just tell him that in the first place?
I don't know. He could have saved his hand.
That a secret. You could have saved your hand. You could have probably saved the people from the basement from scattering. Like, listen, the reason why I'm still just standing here and didn't run is because I never liked Alpha. Seriously, please.
Yeah, she sucked. That stupid voice.
I'm still doing this because I didn't want to rub guts on me, and there was nothing left to burn. I don't have any matches to start a fire over there on the fucking bodies. To keep the fucking zombies away from us. So, what works?
Yeah, it was and that's basically all of the episode.
I'm doing it for comfort, for loneliness.
So, and then our whole team goes off. They cowboy up and they start heading off to try to find this location that potentially Connie may be.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
Sorry. I got to point out this fact as well here.
Point some facts.
Lydia.
I like Lydia. She's cute.
Who has pointed out, oh, look, you see the way those zombies are milling in a circle? They're being corralled, most likely by one of the Whisperers, right? We remember that, right? Now, we also remember, and it's pointed out, Alpha was her mom, right?
Yep.
So we know she has a lot of, and she remembers this guy even.
She remembers and
wasn't like one of the inner circle.
Yeah, this guy is like a random dude, like one of the
part of the pack,
right.
right?
There's like 1,000, or I don't know how many whispers where we say there is total, like probably like 1,000 or so whispers or whatever. Like in fairness, like yeah, and she knows.
I don't know about 1,000. We could even say like 100 or 2. But
Yeah,
there was supposed to be like 100,000 walkers or so. But the thing is, wouldn't she know that if there was a guy right there circling about zombies, that there would automatically kind of have to be more people around? Because what's this guy gonna do when he gets tired?
yeah, I think she's.
Is he gonna lay down?
She's
and take a
not
nap and
so
start snoring?
Joe. She's not so low key trying to protect all of her people. Still,
right? Like, because it stands out to me that this guy's got a horde going in a circle. That's what they do. They keep the horde going while the rest of the people are taking a break at the camp or doing their cooking or whatever close by, and they have the people keeping the horde circling and from going in and killing our group, right? So like she would know that. She would know that it can't be just this one guy alone. There would have to be more than just him in that immediate area.
so
Am I wrong?
No, you're not. You're absolutely not wrong. So we're 5 episodes in here of this season of the final season of The Walking Dead. Next week's episode 6, as I mentioned, next week will be a little bit different. Joe and I will not be on Sunday evening of next week as I'm moving on Sunday. I will either be on Monday live for a quick show in the morning. Maybe Joe and I will do something in that morning before he goes to work, but I don't want to make Joe do this before work. So we'll probably get Joe's thoughts on the episode the following week to double up. But I will do something for episode 6. Either I know episode 6 is already out, so I might do something this week for it. But we will be back in 2 weeks to talk about the final 2 episodes of this season. That's my point. That we're at episode 5. There's 8 episodes in this mini half season. Are we going to get anything interesting in these 8 episodes, Joe? Anything? Could they do anything at this point? Is there any big death, big introduction of an old character? If they give us a Rick tease at the end of all of this, would that be enough to salivate you for excitement for that second block? Because basically what we're dealing with here, if people don't, I'm just doing stupid math here. We're having 4 8-episode runs, and this is the first of the 4. So they're dragging this shit out. They're dragging instead of giving us 8 weeks seems like a short run for this in a sense. It feels like we're just getting started, and this is just introducing a lot of things. Okay, I know I'm surfing around a question here, but the question is, are we going to get conclusions to any of this shit, or is this all going to be all cliffhangered into our next 8 episodes? Is Daryl still going to be with that group of Reapers next half season, or is the Reapers going to be dealt with by episode 8, Joe?
If they've learned nothing, they'll still be around past episode 8. If they've learned anything, which they really, as far as I can see, if I was like grading a paper here, I would say I've failed miserably as their teacher.
Yes, you have. They're not listening to their teacher. Right?
That I would say no, they will be around after episode 8. But if they did kill them off, or had like Maggie, Negan, Daryl, the priest and the ninja dude or whoever the fuck that guy is, take care of the half dead dude at the church, actually take care of these fucking
Reapers.
Fucking stupid fucking group. Like, again,
Von Kaiser.
Look at how crazy I am. I just killed one of my own men.
I'm Von Kaiser.
Introducing a new man.
I'm Birdie.
Who's going to do everything I say because he's afraid he'll get thrown in, because none of my other men are going to be afraid they'll get thrown in. And
absolutely, Sterling.
Just fucking how do you expect audience members to?
It's tough. I mean, and I just Atari Dad, I think it's just backwards because of the way it was dictated. Where's Phil taking little Joe to force him to watch Walking Dead episodes? Didn't I just move? Yes, I did. I actually moved a little less than a year ago, like a little more than a year ago. This hopefully will be the last time I move for at least like 5 years or something. I'm moving into a little bit more of a steady location.
Carnival house.
Yes, I'm moving into a place owned by a member of the like someone in the family.
You don't understand the way the floors. This house that he's in is like a 400-year-old house, literally.
Literally,
like like a literal 400-year-old kind of house.
And
it's like wavy floored and shit. Like you can't tell by looking at, like you can kind of tell if you look at the shelves behind them. They
look like they're down. Yeah, they look like they're
Worf's head.
Yeah.
That's not the camera being.
It's pretty accurate.
That's pretty accurate.
It's pretty accurate. And there's other issues too. So I'm moving into a much nicer place, which is really, and I've said this before, literally a 6-minute walk from Joe's house. So we're going to be a lot closer, and we'll still probably do a lot of online stuff because we're lazy. But it does mean occasionally, at least a couple of times a month, we'll do in-person stuff as well, and beyond the show, get to just hang out more, which will be good. So and Joe will force me to go jogging with him and shit.
Yeah, it's haunted by the walking fucking dead Cattigat.
Yeah, in Sterling, absolutely. One more shot for everybody. Toast to everyone that's joining us tonight. We got about 5 minutes left here. We're gonna top off at like 2 hours. Thank you guys, everyone, for checking this out. Sorry again about the intro here with a little bad audio. I'm going to cut that so you don't have to hear that in the replay. But toast to you. Lydia is the whisperer. Is this place haunted? No, but my place in Salem I felt was a little haunted. But it was a friendly ghost. The main house, the house we spent a lot of time with. There's some shit there. So Joe, what are you gonna do with your week off talking about The Walking Dead? You're gonna
actually. You're gonna be surprised, Philip.
What are you gonna do in your week off, Joe?
I am going to do a complete rewatch.
Oh, of the whole Walking Dead season?
Season.
Of the series. You're going to go back and watch the whole Walking Dead to lead into 2 weeks from tonight when we talk about episode 7 of The Walking Dead. When Joe and I are back, I'm going to be in my new location. We're going to be back, ready to go, and to talk about the final episodes of this season. And I've said this to Joe before, and I'll say it again. After The Walking Dead season's over, we're going to keep coming on Sunday evenings. We're just going to keep doing these Sunday evening, 10:35 p.m. every Sunday.
There's going to be a new HBO show coming out, and most likely that'll be airing on Sunday.
It will be. Also, we've got a bunch of shows that will be coming back at different times. And if not, we've got a couple of interesting topics I want to cover, movie series. Towards the end of living in my last place, you and I were doing a couple of movie series reviews. We talked about like the X-Men series. We're going to talk about a couple of other different movie stuff. We might do movie reviews of recent movies we watched. I also mentioned the last season of Ozarks is coming pretty soon, and Joe and I are going to do that, but we might binge watch, and we might do a Cobra Kai thing with that and just binge watch it, and because I'm excited about that. That is definitely a show that's finishing off this year that I'm very excited to see, and I feel like it's kept its energy throughout, and I'm glad that Netflix didn't pull the plug on that show, unlike a lot of Netflix series. Ozarks, if you haven't watched it yet, is good stuff. You're into the Ozarks as well, right?
I did not watch more than the first 15 minutes of season 3.
Oh, you couldn't get into it?
Season 3 came up.
It's because of Jessica Jones. It's because of Jessica Jones's mother, right? Jessica Jones's mother does it for you. She's bad.
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you if she was in it. Like 15 minutes of the first episode of season 3, and I was like, okay, so something caught my attention elsewhere, and I went back and watched the first 15 minutes again, and I was like, that's why my attention caught me elsewhere. I can't watch this anymore.
Interesting.
And I turned it off, and then everybody told me, oh no, you got to watch past the first few episodes. The brother comes in, and it's just great from there, and he introduces.
I actually didn't like the brother, but
blah blah blah. And And I'm like, and I've heard this from a lot of people.
I didn't like the brother.
I'm like, but you know what? I've invested so much in and Walking Dead is an example of this. Like
you're not afraid to give up on shows, though. I've seen you give up on shows.
You've seen me do it before. Like I almost did it to Breaking Bad before. You were like, no, dude, I think you stopped watching like 2 episodes before Gus gets blown up.
Yeah,
like,
season
really?
4. Yeah,
that's when I went and I was like, all right. So I watched those first few episodes that made me quit it, and I kept going, and I was like, I'm glad I kept going because it finishes off like just when that was about to lose me. It's like it knew itself. The writers knew, and they were like, we need to tie this.
Yeah, that's what they do,
and they brought it all together.
That's what they do, and they organically have stories go where they should. So
but
next,
not here.
No, not on this
here. And I wasn't gonna. And I was like, fuck Lost after episode 1 of season 2. I was like, fuck Heroes episode 1 of season 2. Fuck Ozarks episode 1 of season 3. No, I'm not going to invest time in something that, like, if I see the blatant bad in a show that quickly, and like I can't even put my finger on exactly what it was. I think it was all of a sudden they're in therapy and he's lying about it and paying the therapist, and all this was like right when we get back in from season 3. Like, so okay, there has been a time jump, and I was like, you know what, like and it might not even be a big time jump.
You don't get.
I'm just done with that kind of shit.
You don't get TV Stockholm syndrome the same way I do. Like when
like that's gonna lose it for me every time. There's a lot about this that about TV. I don't get it quite the same way you do, and I know when I'm watching what is a bad show. Like I know when I'm watching.
But I get it, but
whatever.
I get it, but I also give up on shows sometimes as well. I gave up on Ray Donovan right before the final season. Because
that was smart because it didn't finish well. It didn't stand
like the first few seasons of that were fucking excellent, but
amazing.
But once it got to a point where I just couldn't
with
go.
With the daughter chasing around after this kid in New York.
Yeah, and then
what?
After Abby, what they did to Abby when she disappeared from the show and then was like a vision sort of thing. It got really stupid, really fast, and really bad. Jon Voight was always awesome on it, but it just I still haven't finished it. But something about, like, say, a show like Lost, I end up finishing it. Before we finish our show, speaking of finishing things, before we finish it, our good buddy Jay slipped in a voicemail here at the end. Let's hear what Jay has to say.
Hey, Joe, at least you don't watch the show all the way through and then realize that it was a waste of time to watch. Because when I got to the end of Game of Thrones, I wish that I hadn't watched any of it. Like, I wish my whole family had that whole thing, and I just didn't pay attention to any of it after they did the last episode.
One second.
At least you stop watching 1 or 2 episodes in.
Now, I have a question based on Jay's message for you, Joe. Does How I Met Your Mother's finish, does Game of Thrones conclusion, do those things ruin the series for you?
So here's the thing.
Those are 2 of the worst.
Both of those shows. So
they're very similar. They're very similar in the way the mass audience's reaction to the finishes. I'm gonna go get a beer. I'll be right back.
That's just it. So you got the ending of the last few seasons really of Game of Thrones, and that really does. I see where you're coming from. So like, I'm not disappointed that I watched. I think the first 4 seasons are, up to season 5 are really freaking good. They're great. Some of the best television ever made. But I can't tell anybody to go watch Game of Thrones because I know they'll be committed. Most likely they won't quit after season 5. They'll continue to watch what is like trash from like progressively worse from that point on. So I can't recommend anybody go watch Game of Thrones at this point. Like I had always, I might say watch the first 5 seasons and then shut it off. But that's kind of a cop out.
Do you
right?
recommend someone going to watch How I Met Your Mother?
And I can't. I think that show was hilarious for a long time. Very good, great social commentary, and a lot.
I even feel like it was hilarious for longer than you do. Like I followed it all to the end. I feel like they had good episodes up until that last season.
Sucked.
The last season when it was shortened, the whole wedding season, and then basically destroying everything.
Sucked.
It just sucked. And then the final episode was the final piss in the fucking.
Even really suckier, and so no, I can't even watch How I Met Your Mother in a rerun anymore. I don't think any of it holds up to be funny because it's all ruined from the fucking last season. All of it.
Marshall holds up.
The entire fucking thing is ruined. I don't feel that same way about the entirety of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I can see where you come from with that, SM, and I would never fault you for that. And
I rewatched season 1 through 4.
Yeah, the first 4 seasons.
The first
are
in
really
parts
good.
of 5, but really the first 4 I
Yes.
watch like out. I was talking about this on a different stream. I feel like they're almost 2 different shows. The first 4
really
seasons are one show, and the 5 through 7 are another. 5 through 8 are another show.
Yep. And
What is the worst?
just
What is
what
the
it is.
worst television ending of all time for you? You didn't watch Lost all the way through, so Lost wouldn't be on that list for you. Is it How I Met Your Mother? Is that the worst television ending of all time? It's close. It might be it. Do you
see, Game of Thrones is up there with that.
It
too,
is
though,
it is unfortunately
because
too.
of how like what I felt for the first. Like there was nothing about How I Met Your Mother that could have compelled me to read this much material. You know, like
no, true.
nothing. Like to sit down and read.
Not to mention the
right?
video games and all the podcasts I've listened to or talked to.
right?
I'm
Like-
going on Wednesday night still to talk about what if X did X in the Game of Thrones. You know, like some random Game of Thrones topic with Tony for 2 hours. You know,
make me feel the same way. So there's a bit more bitter of a taste in my mouth, but in the same respect. The last season and the ending of How I Met Your Mother completely ruins every minute of that.
And
show
what's
for me.
fucked
There's
up?
things I'll still quote, and there's things I'll still say that was freaking funny.
I still say
And then you hear me say, "Who's
lawyered.
Carlos.
I say lawyered still. But
Lawyered, yeah.
But it's what was fucked up about the final season of How I Met Your Mother. I know we're off topic here, but whatever. How I Met Your Mother, the final season. I feel like what's weird about it is what could have fucked up didn't fuck up. It's tough to. They talked about the mother for 9 seasons, however long that show went, 8 seasons, 9 seasons, whatever.
And then they fucked it up.
No, but they fucked it up, but they didn't fuck up in casting. The girl that they cast to play the
said that
mother
before.
was awesome. I loved her. I really enjoyed her chemistry with the cast. I thought she worked. And what could have sucked on that? No, they actually casted her good. They just bumbled the ball with the whole idea of that final season being about Robin and Barney's wedding when you wanted to eventually break them up 2 seconds after you did a whole season dedicated to their wedding to basically get Ted and the mother together for 5 fucking minutes for her to die of a disease and
here's the thing.
and then have him end up with Robin. It was just a fucking shit show.
Here's the thing. I would have been much more satisfied, and this is why I say they fucked it up. And you say not with the casting, and I say yeah, even with the casting, because you can't cast that role. You can never cast that role.
So you think we never should have seen her?
It's not about how we met their mother, right? It's not about that. The name of the show is How I Met Your Mother, and
It's about
him
the kids.
telling his kids. No. It's not about the kids. It's about him. It's about him meeting their mother. And so it should end with the moment they meet. Period.
No.
And we don't ever have to meet her. It's not about us meeting that mother.
Now, Joe,
that's the big ultimate joke. And that, finishing off that series with that as the final fucking joke, makes the entire running of it, of all the little, oh, but she was the roommate, haha, it was her guitar or whatever, or she was at that coffee shop but I didn't know it, and all that little fucking shit that goes on that we never see, and we wonder who it was that we might have seen in the background. Was their fucking mother, and is it the same chick in all these scenes, or maybe she wasn't even in any of the scenes in the background? But that's what would have made
she wasn't. They Forrest Gumped it. Now, the real YT. First of all, Fernandez T, thank you so much for that super chat donation. That's why I'm off camera right now. I'm giving you a puff reaction. I'm also gonna take a big sip of my drink for you. Thank you for that super chat donation. You are fucking amazing, Fernandez T. You're super amazing supportive. Thank you for all the love you give me and Tony in the live motherfucking chats, in these super chats, and just popping on in with all the positive energy. We love you, Fernandez motherfucking T.
Dexter ending was really fucking.
That I was just gonna ask you. I did watch Dexter. I enjoyed the show from what I watched the first couple of seasons of it, but it was just one of those shows that I lost track of. Not because I didn't like it, because I lost Showtime. I lost my setup, so I just didn't watch it to conclusion. It's something I wanted to catch up on eventually. But I've heard nothing but horrible things about the conclusion. Joe, talk a little bit about the conclusion of Dexter.
It just sucked. Like, I don't even want to remember it in detail enough to talk about a little bit of it.
Okay, let's listen to
other endings that really that like The Sopranos. A lot of people hated that.
I kind of liked it.
Some people kind of liked it.
I kind of liked it.
I'm like one of those people that I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was.
I
great.
got the
I
joke.
That it leaves it open to the imagination.
I got the joke.
I like, yeah, I like what it did with people talking. It left people.
People are still talking about it, Joe. People are still talking about that ending and debating whether he's alive or dead. It actually created a lot of questions and conversation. I enjoy the Andy Kaufman aspect of it too. Of like Andy Kaufman did a television special where he fucked with the V-hold, so people would get up and have to fuck with their TV sets, even though they really weren't fucked up. There's an element of that David Chase enjoyed, of like the TV sets going to black and people going, did my TV go out? Like, I enjoy that aspect of it, like the trolling aspect of it, even though Chase is like, I didn't troll people. And like, yeah, you did. Shut up, David. You know you did a little bit. And I
didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I think it was decent. True Blood ended kind of funky.
Yeah, you and Carmine have talked about True Blood before and said that it started off really good, but then
ended really
got
really bad.
Got a little goofy.
What's that other show with all the fucked up little kids living in the house with Frank there? Oh,
you didn't like the Shameless conclusion with
Shameless,
him with him floating.
It got bad halfway through. I quit. I was really into Shameless for the first.
It got better at the end again a little bit.
And then as soon as Frank met that cancer chick, I finished that season. I was done. First episode that next season, I was like done, quit.
Now, asterisk. This is for me because Joe didn't watch this. The Lost finale definitely got me a little bit too. I think if you were watching Lost live in person, waiting week to week for conclusions, it plays worse than binging it. When you binge it, it's not as bad, and I binged it. I didn't watch it week to week. But if you were waiting week to week for answers like that and ended up in that conclusion, I can understand why The Lost. And that's just a credit of everything we learned about JJ after the fact with the Star Wars movies. He knows how to build up. Him and Ryan Murphy have similar issues, like the guy who did Nip Tuck. They know how to start stuff, but they're not good at finishing it. And I think J.J. Abrams
Nip Tuck started to lose me with actually the addition of Tyrion there, and then it really lost me when they got.
Oh, I like the Tyrion stuff. We got another voicemail here, Joe, from our good buddy Jay. Let's listen to it.
Just to say the reason why I don't like it is because the last episode makes Arya's whole journey for me be like, okay, you became a faceless assassin. Jon is clearly the family member you love more than anyone else. You were ready to kill like your sister straight up for him if it required that. But like, you can't like, I don't know, use your faceless assassin tactics. Go like put on someone's face, let him out of his dungeon, or like go mass murder every one of those fucking I don't remember what those guards are called at this point. But like, you were the best warrior on the planet, and you did nothing about that. That's why that sucked for me. and like John just let himself be a prisoner after he killed the thing or whatever. Like, seriously, no one had a plan. Tyrion had no plan. Like, they just stayed in prison all after that. That was just some bullshit to me.
Right. What about all the other fucking cities that were under her control now that she's dead?
Yeah.
He's just gonna go back to slavery.
Yeah, it's
they ain't going to
no Dario's running them all. And
yeah.
He's doing a good job.
Out there and the lords from out there are just gonna cut his fucking head off.
Asterisk multiplied says, yes, the wait made it much worse. It felt like it was going with the flash. Yeah, the flash sideways, which ended up being nothing and meaning nothing. And that was when the afterlife thing came in, or meeting up in limbo type stuff. No, meeting up so they can all go to the afterlife together and all that sort of shit. Atari Des says Abrams didn't really have much involvement with the series after the pilot episode, and the ending was all Damon Lindelof and Carlton Cuse. Did you watch The Leftovers, Joe?
Yeah.
Was it good? I never checked it out. I've heard good things about it.
It was lot like Lost with a lot of unanswered.
It was Damon Lindelof's series as well.
It wasn't as good as it should have been. It made you want it to be better. Let me put it that way. It made you want it to be better.
Any other horrible television finales did you hate? Like, did you enjoy? Okay, so talk about horrible ones. Do you enjoy?
I hated the Walking Dead finale.
It was that tonight. It ended.
I don't know. I thought it ended at the dumpster.
No. Did you enjoy things like the Newhart finale, like when we flash back?
Newhart finale was amazing.
When we flash over, or like
Cheers was amazing.
Cheers was an excellent one. I think
MASH was amazing.
MASH was a good one as well. I feel like comedy series are easier in some ways, but there are some ones that
Seinfeld sucked.
Seinfeld was a questionable one for sure. I feel like Breaking Bad, even though it was pulpy, was a good finale for a series like that.
Yep, Breaking Bad was a good one. Even
though Oz got weird at the end, I think the Oz finale was good too. I think everyone sort of, it was a big death cycle, and then Oz closed and moved on. 6 Feet Under was an excellent conclusion of that series. And I don't want to spoil anything from it, but it might not be my favorite series of all.
Sense 8 ended too soon, but it still ended fucking great.
The best, I've talked about this the other day. The best series finale I think I've ever seen in my life is Star Trek The Next Generation with All Good Things. That final episode, the goodbye with Q and flashing with the multiple timelines, and that big episode for what Next Generation built up and all of that, I feel like that was probably one of, if not the best series finales, Star Trek Next Generation. SM Down says Friends was a good series finale. Joe, was Friends a good series finale?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I've seen it.
Quantum Leap's ending hurt in a lot of ways. Is because they didn't know it was going to conclude, so they had to end it with that little title card at the end. And people list Seinfeld as a bad one, but I kind of felt like it was just Seinfeld and David Troll. And yeah, I think it was Larry David coming back because he came back to write the episode. And it's like, how do you end a series like that? I didn't hate the Seinfeld finale as much as everyone. I just consider it just another episode. Again, I wasn't watching Seinfeld when it aired. For some reason, I had a hair across my ass for Seinfeld while it was airing. I was like, I'm not going to watch this show. This show's stupid. And then I got to it through Curb Your Enthusiasm. I watched Curb first, and I got into like the adventures of George Costanza. Essentially, is what Curb is. And then I sort of was like, okay, maybe I'll give Seinfeld another shot. And I watched it for Jason Alexander, and I started to love the show. And then the thing that made me hate Seinfeld when I watched it, I started to appreciate too, which was Jerry Seinfeld. Like, I don't like Jerry Seinfeld as an actor. I'm not a big fan of his stand-up comedy, but Comedians in Cars versus with Coffee and shit made me like Seinfeld more, which made me more open to watching Seinfeld. Like, I don't know. Old man Jerry Seinfeld I like better than young, cocky Jerry Seinfeld. Like, old man Seinfeld's like, I don't give a fuck. It's like an old fucking crotchety dude. Like, he would be good in a grumpy old man movie, but I don't know. I had trouble with Seinfeld when I was younger. Like, I couldn't give it a chance. Plus, like, growing up in the 90s, everyone was all about, oh, that happened like on Seinfeld. That was like a Seinfeld thing. It was like everyone used to say that, like during a certain stretch, and it got annoying. It's like every conversation, someone would be like, oh, it's like a conversation on Seinfeld. And again, I got a hair across my ass about it, so I never gave the show a shot. But then I got into Curb, and it kind of got me reflectively back into Seinfeld. I never got into Friends, though. I know it's a good show. I'm not going to shit talk it. I know Joe's a fan. I know a lot of people that are fans of it. I know it's as high quality as Seinfeld, as high quality as Cheers. It still stands up. I think
stand up as well.
Depends the episode. I think early
No, correct. It depends the episode, but it doesn't so much depend the episode with Friends. They all pretty much stand up.
Now, Mandrell, Quantum Leap ended with it was a big episode where he had to like save the wife of Al, his buddy, and it was and sacrifice himself, and he could have leaped home, but he didn't. And then at the end, he leaps off into his next adventure, and they put a title card on the bottom of the screen that says, Sam never gets home and leaps forever. It's like this depressing ending that they put with a fucking title card because they didn't want to complete the series. So all of this is all about, yeah, we're going on a little bit of a rant. Joe and I will maybe do a different podcast in the future, basically repeating what we just said here and doing a list about best endings, worst endings. But we're talking about the final season of The Walking Dead. Where do you think, and this is the last thing we'll talk about, then we'll finish here. Where do you think The Walking Dead finale will end up on this list? Will it matter enough to be a horrible conclusion? Or could they possibly, with Rick coming back in a big fucking ending, could they fail on every account and then do a good series finale? Will The Walking Dead series finale be a good episode of The Walking Dead, Joe? No, you don't think so? You don't think they're gonna do the last episode? They'll get one good episode. Will Rick Grimes be in the final episode of The Walking Dead? No. You say no. I say yes. I say Rick Grimes will be in the final 3 episodes of The Walking Dead. 3 episodes. They won't get him for any more. He'll show up in the final 3 episodes. No. Star says the ending won't matter because nobody cares. It will just be another bridge to the next shit show. So Star is saying, and I think Joe's probably in his nose agreeing with this, that the conclusion of The Walking Dead will not be a legitimate series finale. It will just feel like a springboard to the Daryl and Carol series in our Walking Dead spin-off anthology series. It will just feel like more of the same. So you're saying that the series finale will just feel like more of the same to you? I'm
saying there's not going to be anything fucking special about anything from the show, period.
Yes, and Star. Sam supposedly is still out there leaping to save Al and never made it home. Nope, Sam never made it home. And
I think I know what's going on with the writing room. I think I just figured this out.
Do it, Joe. Tell us.
Carol Kang. They're not paying writers anymore, right?
No, they got manatees.
No. They have interns.
Oh, you think they just have interns?
They have interns writing the show, and what this woman is doing is telling them, now I want you to write this trope. Now I want you to write this trope. Now I want you to write this trope. And she's grading them on it or passing it off to the university or some shit. It's like she's running a class on how to
fail.
Not necessarily fail, but this is all the classic television writing techniques.
Now, Joe, I have a follow-up. I have a follow-up question. Later. You say they won't get good. Will The Walking Dead move the needle again? Meaning,
moving it every week. They are breaking records still every week.
Yeah, breaking records, losing viewers. What I mean is,
records, Phil?
You know what I'm asking? Will The Walking Dead become front page news again?
Why would it? How could it? How could it possible?
Andrew Lincoln coming back. You don't think that will? That's the thing.
Did Maggie move the needle?
No, will Rick move the needle coming back?
Why would Rick move the needle? Why were people so much more camp? You think there was that many more Camp Rickers than there were Camp Maggiers? Do you think
will
anybody
Michonne
really
and Rick move the needle?
The reason why they lost viewers isn't because they lost Rick or Maggie
Or
It's not
Michonne.
because they lost Glenn. It's not because they lost Michonne.
Or
it's not
Abraham.
because they lost any of them. It's how they fucking lose them. It's when they lose.
No, it's how they
Why
act when they're
lose
done,
them.
when they're gone too.
It's like this is the reason why. Like I said, if tonight you did something like, or last week or whenever it was that fucking axe hit fucking fake Aaron in the fucking head, it should have been Daryl.
Yeah.
Or Maggie or Negan or any one of those big three or even
Gabriel.
the priest Gabriel, right? And nobody even take note. Everybody keep running, and for the rest of the episode they don't mention it. They don't say anything about it because nobody knows that he's actually fucking dead, but the audience does, right? The audience gets to sit there like, did that actually just fucking happen? Am I supposed to pay attention to the rest of the fucking episode and everything that's going on? Thinking about the fact that randomly, player X gets fucking chopped in the head. That actually meant something to the audience, not just like, who cares? Who cares that we saw an axe hit one of our group in the fucking face and head?
Because they're nobodies.
Who cares about that?
Yeah,
dude?
who cares about that dude?
It's no different than if it was a walker. It's bad special effects for the reason of having blood and gore, but no actual
Joe, I'm almost
other reason.
I'm almost thankful for them getting rid of another person I just don't have to care about. Yeah, so
Right.
it's like, good. Get the fuck rid of that person. And we got a couple more questions here before we call it a night. Do you guys think that everyone is infected as suggested in season 1? ? Yes. And I think yes.
Yeah, because didn't someone die from sickness in the prison?
Yeah, we've seen it a few times. They've gone away from getting into that. Maybe we'll get back into that
just
later.
Get shot or something and become a zombie.
Yeah, we're to a point where there's no explanation. It's the damn lingering questions and y'all's banter that keeps me sucked in.
What it might be, what might be
you.
nice is if we see that like children that have been born since aren't infected. Like it
Right,
was something
they've
in the
built
air
up some
that's
sort of
not
a
in the air.
Maybe that's what we'll learn with the Muppet Walking Dead Baby show. That we'll learn that the kids, like one of the kids gets bitten and he just heals and doesn't turn
But
into
it
a
has
zombie.
to be like after, the fall.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
they were born.
Exactly. They have to be two people that both have the infected gene, create an offspring that is. That's why I'm saying that Judith is the Neo. She's gonna get bit and not turn and be like, oh, I can.
But
kill
all these
every
other
zombie.
kids underneath them too, because they're all born after the fact.
It's true.
Who are younger than her. Anybody younger than her is also.
So everybody, I think we're going to call this a show at this point. Joe and I could keep
Or
going.
not necessarily immune, Phil, but can't be like turned.
Can't be turned
death
to zombie-ish.
just by dying. No,
Right.
no, can be turned to zombie if they get bitten or some shit like that. But they're not. They don't have the virus that everybody
Right.
else
They
has.
need the nano robots, Borgs, slipping
Whatever.
into
They
them.
just need to be bitten rather than just die and turn into a zombie like everybody else does.
Makes sense. Excuse me. Makes sense to me. So everybody,
Then it won't happen because nothing looks.
thank you so much for joining us this week. I'll be back on Tuesday, I think, or maybe tomorrow night, to talk about the newest episode of Only Murders in the Building. I'm also going to try to slip in a Walking Dead review somewhere midweek, but if worst case scenario happens and I'm just too busy this week packing up my crap, Joe and I will be back in 2 weeks to talk about both episodes. But one way or another, we will talk about both episodes. We'll talk about the new episode first, and then we'll talk about the older episode briefly afterwards. But I will try to slip in here at some point. I'll also be on Wednesday evening on Teflon TV to talk another Game of Thrones What If topic this week with Tony. The first couple that we did was what if the Red Wedding didn't happen, what if Khal Drogo didn't die, and what if Rhaegar beat Robert in the Battle of the Trident. All three fun episodes, a lot of good babbling there, so check those out on Tony's channel if you haven't. If you're hungry for some Game of Thrones babblery. Joe and I will get back into some Game of Thrones talk when we get into the House of Dragons series on HBO coming up soon in 2022. As soon as there's a trailer. I don't like talking about story leaks or just pictures and shit. First time Joe and I will talk about something is when we finally get an actual trailer, a live action video. We'll also be talking about Better Call Saul stuff whenever we get that. Bob Odenkirk is back on set filming the final season of Better Call Saul, which might again be cut into 2 parts, but I hope we get all of it at once. I really do. But we'll be back in a couple weeks to talk more Walking Dead. Thank you to everyone that joined us tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you to all the super chatters. I think we need one more run of the music here. I'm not done talking, Joe. But bye, Emerald, Star, Real YTs, Lizard, Atari Dad, Mandrell, thank you for popping on in, buddy. SM Down, thank you for the voicemails. Walking David, thank you so much. Check out Walking David stuff. All you guys are incredible. If you haven't already, again, please hit that like button. It helps this get to a lot of different people and helps us get out there. Right now in YouTube, more than ever, it's more important that you like and share all the videos. So I should say that at the beginning and all the time, but do it. Do it all the time. We love you guys. We'll be back soon. Good night. Thank you.